Hey everybody, just going to take a quick break from the show to get you styled up with Stitch Fix. Shopping's hard. It's hard. With Stitch Fix, you get a stylist, though, who understands your style, your size, your budget, and they do all the shopping for you.
Wow.
This is excellent. Shopping, I'm telling you, shopping and figure out your style, it's overwhelming. Let somebody help you when it comes to getting dressed. We don't know what we're doing, so we let Stitch Fix help us out. A Stitch Fix stylist there. They know what works on us. We get the prices that make us look really good, and it feels good. You get some confidence boost walking around knowing that you're looking decent here.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, we just give the stylist our sizes, style, budget preferences. We order boxes when we want, how we want, no subscription or any of that required. And they send called Just For Me pieces as well. Like, maybe you'd like this, and it's awesome. Outfit recommendations, styling tips. You keep what you love, you send back the rest. It's super easy.
Yep.
You can do it, and we are doing it because it's excellent. Personal styling for everyone. Get started today at stitchfix.com/STM. That's stitchfix.com/STM.
Now back to the show.
Hey everybody, just going to take a quick break from the show to tell you a little bit more about Rocket Money. It's the start of a new year. It's the perfect time to get organized, set your goals, prioritize what matters most. And for me, top priority is getting myself together here. Financial wellness, doing that, which that feels important, you know? Just feels like adult stuff that you have to do. And thanks to Rocket Money, my goals feel achievable now. They show me all my subscriptions in one place, help me easily cancel ones I forgot that I've been paying for, which happened to me. Absolutely happened to me. I had, for years, I was paying for something. I was like, what is going on here? Rocket Money found it and saved me lots of money since then, because it's been a while. So they did a great job here. Rocket Money is a personal finance app that helps find and cancel your unwanted subscriptions, monitors your spending, and helps lower your bills so you can grow your savings. Rocket Money has over 5 million users and has saved a total of $500 million in canceled subscriptions, saving members up to $740 a year when using all the app's premium features. Cancel your unwanted subscriptions and reach your financial goals faster with Rocket Money. Go to rocketmoney.com/smalltownmurder today. That's rocketmoney.com/smalltownmurder. rocketmoney.com/smalltownmurder.
Now back to the show.
Hi, I'm Ashley Flowers, and if you're like me and grew up watching America's Most Wanted and reading Nancy Drew, then hi, you're a crime junkie. And I bet that passion for solving mysteries never went away, which is why we've assembled a team of reporters to dig deep into all the cases we still obsess over. Each Monday, my best friend Britt and I will bring you a case that you won't be able to stop thinking and talking about. So join us by listening to Crime Junkie wherever you listen to podcasts.
This week, in Aberdeen, South Dakota, a phone call demanding ransom and several odd occurrences send detectives down the wrong path before they're finally surprised by a dark and grisly finding. Welcome to Small Town Murder. Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Small Town Murder.
Yay!
Yay indeed, Jimmy. Yay indeed. My name is James Pietragallo. I'm here with my co-host.
I'm Jimmie Whisman.
Thank you, folks, so much for joining us. We have a crazy, wild, twisty, just insane show for you this week.
Great.
Before we get to that, we also have something very exciting. We have our tour dates for 2023. We're going to announce them at the top of the show. We'll probably run them down at the bottom of the show, too. Okay. But they are coming out, what is it, the week after Thanksgiving is
soon.
The live day. So they're going live. You can buy them. So get it ready. Holiday gifts and everything else. Yeah. You get those over at shutupandgivememurder.com. Very quickly, if you want, let's go through the dates right now. February the 10th, we're in Cleveland at the Agora. February the 11th, St. Louis at the Pageant, back in St. Louis at a much nicer venue this time. March 23rd and 24th, 2 nights, we're going to be in Seattle at the Neptune, both nights. Next night, March 25th, we're in Portland, Oregon at Revolution Hall. We have 2 shows that night as well, so a 7 p.m. and I think a 10 p.m. Friday, May 5th, we're in Detroit, back in Detroit at the Masonic there. Nice venue. Again, May 6th, we're in Pittsburgh, back at the beautiful Carnegie Music Hall. That place is lovely.
Oh, in Munhall, PA.
We love it. In Munhall there. July 15th, summer in San Diego. Why not? Let's do it. July 15th, that'll be a nice reprieve for Jimmie from Phoenix there. We're at the Observatory again. That's going to be great. July 28th, we're in Salt Lake City again. Mormontown, USA at the Depot. Again, July 29th, the next night, we're in Denver at the Newman Center, a little bigger venue that time. Friday, August 11th, we're in Minneapolis. I love Minneapolis in the summer, at the Pantages. It's gorgeous. And then the next night, August 12th, Chicago at the Auditorium Theater, our hugest venue ever.
It's giant.
And we said, you know what, goddammit, Chicago has never let us down. They were our first live show city, and they've always come through for us every day. We've never had an open seat in Chicago ever. So
yeah, from Lincoln Hall on.
So thank you guys so much for that. That's August 12th. September the 8th, we are in Atlanta at the Tabernacle. September the 9th, we're in Charlotte at the Night, which is closing out the festival. Or I don't know if we're closing out with the festival there. And then Philadelphia, October the 6th at the Fillmore. And then Washington, D.C. at the Howard, October the 7th. Dates still coming for New York, Boston, Milwaukee, and Phoenix. Those are definitely coming. So they're just working out the final dates there. So they're coming. Get your tickets. They'll be on sale the week after Thanksgiving. So that is if you're from another country. What is that, like December 1st or something around there? I don't know. Whatever. Either way, quickly, Patreon is another thing you're going to want. Patreon.com/crime and sports. $5 or above gets you all the bonus episodes, two new bonus episodes every other month, huge back catalog, and you get a shout out at the end of the show. This week, Crime and Sports, it's a weird old newspaper thing that will be very funny, trust me. It has nothing to do with sports, so you'll enjoy that. Then for Small Town Murder, we're going to talk about Love After Lockup again.
Yes!
Shit, yeah, can't wait. That said, disclaimer time. Let's do it. This is a comedy show. We're comedians. Obviously, there's murder that's going to happen, and there's going to be jokes also. But what we do here is we go out of our way to not make jokes about the victim or the victim's family.
Why, James?
Because we're assholes.
Yeah, but
we're not scumbags. That's how that works. So if you think true crime and comedy should never, ever go together, maybe we're not your cup of tea. Maybe we are. Give it a shot. If you think that, then, maybe we are. Who knows? Not everybody's compatible. Put it that way.
It's true.
You never know. So the rest of you, though, that want to have a good time and hear a crazy, crazy, crazy story, I think it's time, Jimmie, to sit back. Yeah. Let's go ahead and clear the lungs. Sure. Wherever you are, I don't care how public it is. Shout it out your car window. Let's do it. Shut up and give me murder. All right, let's do this, Jimmie.
Yeah,
let's go on a trip.
Let's go somewhere.
Let's do it. We're going all the way to South Dakota this week. We don't go to South Dakota too often, I will say. No. We're in Aberdeen, South Dakota. Sorry, we haven't been back more recently, but Aberdeen, South Dakota.
Right?
Oh, it does, definitely. It's named after the Scottish Aberdeen. That's where it's in northeastern South Dakota. Up there. It's about 2 hours and 40 minutes to Pierre, which is the capital of South Dakota. 3 hours and 5 minutes to Sioux Falls, if you want to go there. Very exciting. And almost 6 hours to Hill City, South Dakota, which is our last South Dakota episode, which was episode 274. This is Brown County, area code 605. Motto here, this is very optimistic. Motto, we're changing the game.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, no one will notice because we're in South Dakota. That's in parentheses.
We're done playing.
We're done. Quick history of this town here. Before it was originally inhabited by the Sioux Indians, this area. This is the Teton Sioux area. Actually, this was
really
this is the area of these tribes are the ones you don't fuck with. They will.
Particularly
tough group, known for being particularly badass. People, Europeans started coming here for business, fur trading, that sort of shit in the 1820s, and they had trading posts all the way up until like the 1830s. The first Europeans to settle this area were a party of 4 people. So
there's probably more once upon a time.
Just 4. 4 said we're moving here. Fuck it. We don't care. 4 people, 3 horses, 2 mules, 15 cattle, and 2 wagons. That's it. They showed up with that and said, this ought to do.
Balls.
That's huge balls. That's wild. They were later joined by another group in the spring. So they stayed all winter just with those people, just with those 4 people going.
In northeast South Dakota?
In the middle of nowhere, there's no people, there's no anything, wind blowing, snow everywhere. Just like, I hope more people are around. Maybe
a whole season of that.
I realize the Sioux aren't very friendly, but I don't care at this point. I'd rather try to make friends with someone who wants to kill me rather than, rightfully wants to murder me. So
frightening.
Yeah, it's either way. It would be difficult. And then more people ended up coming after that. Mm-hmm. Now, the place was named because it was a train stop. There's a lot of trains. It was like a crossroad for train tracks. And the boss of the train company, one of the train companies, he was from Aberdeen, Scotland. So they named it
from there.
Yeah. So they were like, we named this town from the town you're from. That's how
I hate it.
That's how arbitrary these town names are in some of these areas.
So creative.
It's fucking interesting. A lot of businesses grew on Main Street after a while, but the problem is constant flooding. It wouldn't rain very much, and when it would rain, it just flooded the shit out of this town. Yeah, it wouldn't.
The ground's been dried and hardened, so it doesn't absorb water any
longer. It absorbs nothing, and it was known as the town in the frog pond. That's what it was known as by others around here. Yeah. It's quite the nickname. That's not exactly we're changing the game. Town in the frog pond.
Gross.
That is not even the town with the frog pond. The whole town is inside of a frog pond. In 1882, they decided to build an artesian ditch to control the frog pond effects. And
so it literally floods to a pond and frogs start hatching.
They go there. At least it's not on Main Street, basically. Because they were saying like it would flood everybody's basements, everybody's houses. It would flood everything. Right. The town had these big giant steam pumps that would take 3 weeks to get the water out of the town. But by then it had rained again, and then it would, so you'd never get ahead of it. And then finally, this became a well at some point, apparently, in 1884, and that kept shit from flooding quite as badly, and that was good. They also called it the hub city of the Dakotas because there were so many railroad tracks there. So there's a lot of nicknames for a tiny town. It's very strange. The author of The Wizard of Oz, L. Frank Baum, lived here for a few years in the 1890s. Really? He owned a different store every year, and they all failed. So he's a better writer than businessman, apparently.
Oh, I hope his family thrived from writing that dumb fucking movie.
Well, yeah, he also, after that, he must have had money because to be able to open a shitload of stores every year and fail and still open another, then he later published one of the city's newspapers, which there was 9 of them at the time. So
Jesus,
he's got to have made some dough.
How did he do that?
He's got to have some dough, man. The city has a small amusement park that has some Wizard of Oz shit because of that. We'll talk about
the fortitude, James.
The fortitude in this place. I'm telling you, it's a fortitude kind of town. Everything's flooded. It's all right. It'll dry up. It'll
push
dry.
On.
But there's so many frogs. That's all right. Frogs,
write a book about it.
Frogs are allowed to be here too. We're all nature now, understand? We're like, what the fuck is happening in this town? You're a little too laid back. Reviews of this town. We found a review strain where reviewers are arguing with each other years apart, and it's hilarious.
Stop it.
It's amazing, Jimmy. That's why we have to get to this. It's very important. I love these reviews so much. They're so close to my heart. So here is 5 stars. Okay. Aberdeen, South Dakota is an amazing place to live if you're interested in having plenty of opportunities while living in a safe and welcoming town.
Oh.
It's a hell of a lead. It's big time. The neighborhood that I personally live in is full of young families with little children running around, which is a beautiful sight.
Ew.
I was going to say, unless this is like a 78-year-old woman, I'm creeped out.
Yeah, fucker.
If it's an old lady with a tray of cookies, I'm fine. Anything other than that, I'm really upset about this. It just shows how the town is growing and how loving each of the families are to welcome new lives into the world. What? Or they knocked each other up. They don't have to be loving to get pregnant.
Even worse now, like it's going from that person looks at a child and goes, "Oh, sex."
Yeah.
Sex
not
made
sex,
that. That's
love.
incredible.
Not sex. Love made that.
Yeah.
Love made it, Jimmy.
Lots of kissing and penetration.
Then the stork came, I think, is what they're getting at. So I have never had to worry about having to look over my shoulder when walking down the street or be scared that at any time someone should go crazy and harm lives. I think living in this town has set such a high standard for where I would like to live in the future, and I'm not quite sure that I could possibly find a better place than I'm at. So
okay, apparently this place is beautiful.
They just love it. 3 stars is this one. Okay. This is very short, and this is like a very Western response. Quote, things are bad here, but they could be worse. That's 3 stars. That's hilarious. That's very Western. How is everything here? Could be worse. Thanks for the insight. Appreciate it, sir. Thank you. As he tipped his hat and he left.
Ain't the best, ain't the worst.
3 stars. Quote, you'll hear about something every once in a while, but nothing very serious. I don't know what that means. Something bad happening, I guess.
You'll hear about something.
That's it. You'll hear about something every once in a while, but nothing very serious. Could be bad. It's bad, but it could be worse, is what they just said. And
a lot more worse.
A lot more worse. Okay, here's 2 stars. I grew up in Aberdeen, and I don't recommend it to anyone.
Oh.
All right. Bars are about the only place to go, and they are just drinking holes. Well, yeah, that's a bar. You just described a bar.
There's dives. All right.
You ever seen a bar in the light? You'd go, oh, what is this drinking hole? That's what you'd say if you saw a bar in the light.
What do people do here? Drink and hate themselves?
You've worked at bars, right? Yeah. You know, when you get there at 4 and all the lights are on and you're cleaning shit and you're like, this place is disgusting. And then everybody turns the lights down and people are like, I'll take my pussy out here. And you're like, no, you don't know what I cleaned up. It's gross. Don't put it away. Please.
Myers fingering people.
Oh, God. Jesus, don't you know anything? Don't touch the stools. The area lakes are dirty. Golf courses are just boring. Well, that can go for anywhere.
Yeah,
They saying
it's a golf course, my friend?
Are they saying that they don't? It's not challenging enough?
Yeah.
That par 3 on hole 8 is bullshit. Like it's super easy. There isn't even a dog leg. What are we supposed to do? Shopping is pretty much limited to chain stores. Well, that's America. Restaurants are fast food or chains. Again. It is bitter cold in the winter. Well, you're in northern South Dakota, so what do you want, man? Mosquitoes take over in the summer. Again, you just named the summer. I have gone back to visit several times, and I'm always happy to leave. I love that line. And I'm always happy to leave. I don't know how the average person can afford to live there because good jobs are very limited. The only good thing I can say about the town is that it's really easy to ride your bike because it's completely flat.
That's a great, right?
I mean, they tried to find positive.
How frequent are you riding your bike, though?
That's the other thing. Who knows? I guess you got to ride it a lot. 1 star now. Here's where it starts. Okay.
This is the good stuff.
From what I'm seeing on this thread, most of the people posting here must be lying or they're part of the problem. Okay, now that's when we start out with that right away.
Yeah.
It's throwing down the gauntlet here. All right. I've lived in a lot of different places, and I can confidently say I would never recommend this god-awful town to even my worst enemy. The locals here are hostile and rejecting towards outsiders. They're unwelcoming, ignorant, and have clearly been improperly socialized. Like a German shepherd. Like, what the fuck?
They've all been walked on choke collars way too long.
And not taken around any other dogs or people. They've just been really kept.
Just been choked constantly.
In the backyard, just tied up to one of those poles and just choking. The police are useless and corrupt scum who will easily turn a blind eye to the, all capitals, huge meth problem in this town. But will pull over anybody going a few miles above the speed limit. City officials don't stand up for their voters either. When I first moved here, I thought it was just the old people who were such rude jerks, but it's everybody. The young men in this town have no respect for people and maintain loose moral compasses.
The men?
Loose moral compasses.
Young men.
Wow. A young man with a loose moral compass? Who would have thunk that? Which probably accounts for the rape statistics that are nearly 3 times greater than the national average. I'm not sure that's true. I just have it in violent crime later. We'll see. Not a place where I'd raise a family. There's also a college here, so that's probably why. Any college, any place where there's a college, you're going to get 3 times the rape just because there's access to, to that. So
booze and being a child.
Booze and people of the opposite and same or whatever sex that want each other. So not a place where I'd raise a family. Unethical, dangerous, and horrible town.
Okay.
All right. Next one. 1 star. This town is evil in every sense. Now we're going to evil. It's about, never mind loose moral compass.
Yeah.
People are jerks. We're going right to evil now. People are paranoid, unfriendly, cold, and avoidant, and do not like getting to know anyone new. So if you move there, you'll be rejected because you're not one of them. Most drivers are on drugs. That seems like a guesstimate. No, I don't know how you would know that.
That is a wild statement.
It's just a wild accusation. And make roads unsafe. They drive the wrong way down one-way streets. Well, that's a clue. I guess that's a clue. The schools and university are also full of evil beings and are poorly managed. Evil beings? What the shit? Is it the same person, you think?
I want to meet this person.
Wow. Businesses in Aberdeen are old, gloomy, and haunted. Wow. Oh, my God.
All right.
Not only is this building run down, there's ghosts everywhere. 1 star. I went to this McDonald's expecting the Big Mac meal, and what I got was ghosts. I'm not happy about it. What the fuck are you talking about? There's nothing to look forward to every day except cloudy, depressing weather, freezing to death, and shoveling snow. Whoa. Okay.
That is the most bleak outlook on life I've ever heard.
Awesome. I really want to meet that person.
And creative.
And then finally, 1 star again. This one's going to talk to this person. They're answering back. 1 star. I liked that during 10 years living there, we were able to save enough money to get out and be semi-retired now. In retrospect, though, I would advise potential students, young families, and professionals not even to stay 2 years. There are better stepping stones. Weather and small-town provincialism are extreme, and there is something evil about the place. More evil. What is up with the evil and the hauntings? Then something evil about this place, ... I am not a born-again evangelist, and many have commented on this. So they're like, I'm not like some, person that's always shouting fire and brimstone, but I know evil when I see it, basically, and other people have said it also. So
even wrote born again, like
a hint of evil.
In case anybody finds out that I'm who I really am on this anonymous website. I'm also not born again evangelist.
Wow, but evil. So evil, haunting, a lot of weird stuff going on. Just a touch of evil. Just not
even religious. I just know what evil looks like.
I know evil when I see it. Population here, 28,180 people. And there's a college here, like I said. So you're going to have a lot of the stats are going to be skewed in that way. Median age is 34.9. A lot of people in the younger, college age group there as well. Still 49.7% married, though, even though it's a college town, which is super weird. 19% are single and with children, so that's double the normal. Race of this town, 86.7% white, 1.8% black, which is more black people than I honestly would expect in the middle of nowhere in South Dakota. 3.4% Asian, 4.2% Native American. I would expect that. And 2.3% Hispanic. 78.2% of the people here are religious, Jimmy.
Is that right?
It's one of the highest numbers we've ever had. Wouldn't have expected that. Most of them, 31.5%, are Lutheran. As we all know, Lutherans are the Catholics of the wheat belt. I don't know, right? Or of the Northern Plains.
What are they?
The Northern Plains. Wow. Interesting. They're 0.1% Jewish, so not very Jewish there. Politics in this town, Brown County, 37.3% last presidential election voted Democratic, 60.3% Republican, 2.4% Independent. Median household income here is $47,540 a year. So a little lower than the national average, but nothing out of the bounds of normal. Cost of living, 100 is regular average. Here it's 78, so not too terrible. Housing, though, median home cost $177,200, which is
very doable.
Way lower than $291 is the national average. So that's not bad. If we've convinced you, damn it, you need a touch of evil in your life. You're going to go see why the McDonald's is haunted and what evil's happening down at the Wendy's. We have for you the Aberdeen, South Dakota Real Estate Report. The average 2-bedroom rental here goes for $760, which is considerably cheaper than the national average. Here's a 3-bedroom, 1-bath, 2,268 square feet. It is like a
Say that again.
2,268.
2-bedroom, 1 bath?
3-bedroom, 1 bath.
Oh, okay.
3-bed,
All
1 bath. I think it's 1.5 bath. 2,268 square feet. It is hideous. Its color is a deep, I would call it a deep Dijon mustard.
Yeah.
It's a dark yellow baby shit, but like from a certain baby food. It's really disgusting.
USC gold.
It's no, not gold. No, not gold. It looks like if someone had
Is it Harvest Gold?
No, it's someone had a Packers helmet in their garage for like a century, and now it's like got covered in mold, and it's like a darker, weirder yellow. That's what it looks like.
Whoa!
Like
on the outside?
The outside of this home. It stands out like a sore thumb. It's the ugliest house in any neighborhood around here. It's a piece of shit. It's ugly. It's terrible. There's a shack outside. I don't know what that's for.
Boy.
I'm terrified. Maybe wood. Either way, $129,000 for that. If you want to slap a coat of paint on it, good for you. Here's a 4-bedroom, 2-bath, 1,561 square feet. So that's 4 bedrooms and less square feet there. Someone's grandmother has lived there for the last 60 years. She redid the house in about 82 and kept it pristine since then, and that's what it looks like. It's weird as shit.
At least it's clean, though, yeah?
It's clean. Yeah, it looks like it's super clean. That kitchen gets cleaned to the core every night.
Right to that plastic coating.
Like Grandma does, down to the raw linoleum. $209,000 for that little slice of heaven. Then finally, 4-bedroom, 3-bath, 3,056 square feet.
Hey.
This is what it basically looks like. It's a cabin, like a log cabin, and it looks like what a married guy thinks his life would look like if he got divorced. I'd just go live in this cabin, and I'd have like heads on the wall and like, skin blankets and, things like that. Lots of flags everywhere.
That's a real mountain man stuff.
Yeah, exactly. That's what it looks like. $570,000 for this house.
Okay.
Still, for what it is, it's not a bad. You could take all the weird stuff out of there.
Sure.
Things to do very quickly. Storybook Land is here. Families enjoy a world of imagination inspired by familiar nursery rhymes. It's public domain Disney World. That's what it is. Nursery rhymes that are public domain that nobody fucking owns any. The copyrights have expired on. We trade on that essentially.
Oh, look, it's the 3 blind mice.
Such as Humpty Dumpty and Hickory Dickory Dock. You can slide down Jack and Jill's Hill or visit Goldilocks and the 3 Bears. See what I'm saying? Oh, God. Old McDonald's barn you can go to. There's also a medieval castle. See what I'm saying? This is really
Shrekland.
It's surrounded by a moat and guarded by knights in armor. The entire family will enjoy the mini Humpty Dumpty roller coaster. The Land of Oz, located within Storybook Land, portrays the well-known characters and settings in the Wonderful Wizard of Oz, written by L. Frank Baum. Dorothy's house features a gift shop and offers a simulated tornado experience with special lighting and sound effects. And you can stroll down a yellow brick road as well. So have that. And also there is horses to ride for some reason.
And the fact that this is the first time we've ever heard of this means it's not a family destination.
No. It probably looks like a miniature golf course from the parking lot. You know what I mean? And then you're like, oh, that's what's going on in there.
There's a North Pole in Colorado Springs that's kind of like that, but like for Christmas shit.
Yeah, there's
unlicensed,
off the highway, type of deal here. Crime rate in this town, property crime, right about average for property crime, right about national average. And then violent crime, murder, rape, robbery, and of course assault, the Mount Rushmore of crime, is about 20% under the national average. So
it's so evil around here.
Evil. But the violent crime that does happen is evil. That's one thing you will say. So that said, let's talk about a murder, shall we?
Let's do that.
Let's get into this, Jimmy, because it's something. Boy, this is a twisty, weird case. Let's go back in time a little bit. We need to. Let's get in our time machine. Lights are flashing. Yeah. I don't know. You got everything, by the way? Did you remember your charger this time, Jimmy? You forget it every time. Then you got to borrow my charger. And
You
look,
just bring yours.
we're
We'll
in.
just share.
Well, we're going
It's
back to
fine.
1985. They're not going to have any more. That's the thing. We're not like we can go pick one up. So you got to any
Do
technology.
these even fit in
remember
the
it.
outlets back then?
We'll make it work, Jimmy. We'll make it work if I have to rig it up. But you're going to need at least the plug-in for your phone for me to be able to make the electric happen. All right, let's go back to 1985. Here we go. Okay. Marty McFly is going back in time. A lot of stuff going on. Coke is
fun stuff.
Coke is screwing up their entire brand by putting out a terrible tasting swill and saying, that's good, right? We're in Stranger Things times here. But instead of Indiana, we're in South Dakota. So let's talk about a young man who's 19 years old, all right? Okay. 19, Michael Kinney, Kinney. Michael Kinney. He's 19. He goes to school here at the university that's in Aberdeen. He goes there and also helps out like at home a little bit. His mom, they seem like they have quite a bit of money, by the way. His mother has an interest in the McNeil Mitchell Quarter and Painted Horse Ranch, which is a noted breeding operation. Really? That's what they say. Yeah, apparently it's a big horse. They breed and sell horses, these people. They have a big horse ranch, and McNeil is his mom's name. His mom's maiden name. Her name is Sandra McNeil. So apparently it's her family and some other family. His grandparents have money. Mom has money. He's lined up to inherit all this stuff anyway.
Wow.
Yeah, he is. Old Michael Kinney. He's ready to go.
Is mom single now, and she used to be married to a Mr. Kinney?
Yes. His dad's name is Jack Kinney, and he was a captain with the South Dakota Highway Patrol. And now he's a private investigator after retiring from the Highway Patrol, and he lives about a half hour away. So that's what's going on here. He lives with mom, goes to school, works a little bit, and they live a little bit west of town, west of Aberdeen. Now, he graduated high school, Michael did, in 1984. And so he's ready for the world. He's excited.
Brand new adult.
Brand new adult. He's got an older brother who's in the military at this time. Yeah. So, this is the family he grew up in. So May 8th, 1985, he's got big plans for the weekend. He's got a turkey hunt lined up. It's his first turkey hunt. He's very excited. He's got his turkey hunting license, and he's all ready to go. In the morning, he leaves his home that he shares with mom, Sandra McNeil. And he's got a couple classes in the morning. The college he goes to, by the way, sounds like a made up sitcom college. It's not even real. Couldn't even sit there for 5 minutes to come up with a decent sounding college name. They just called it Northern State College. It's a state.
You got to wear that shirt.
State college in a northern state. It works on two accounts. Just put it in there. Northern State.
That's not a good shirt at all.
No, it sounds is that a real college is what I would say. Is that real? Did you make that? Is that from like a show or something? What is that?
Yeah, that feels like the unlicensed.
Someone on The Office go there? Is that where Steve Carell's character went to college? Like, what's going on here? What the fuck are we talking about? That's what it sounds like to me. Yeah, Northern State.
Northern State.
Northern State College. It's in a northern state.
And is it respected? Is that?
I mean, that name, just someone naming it that's disrespectful right there. So I'm going to go with no. just by that. Not even the guy who named the fucking place respects it.
It's not even going to be accredited. Just give it a dumb name. All right, I got it.
Northern State College. Well, we teach anti-evil enforcement. If you walk into a McDonald's and you see an apparition or a goblin of any kind, we'll teach you how to scoop it right into a milkshake cup and take it down for disposal.
I wonder if there's a Southern State College.
There has to be. There's so many colleges, you just name anything. Daffy Duck Agricultural and Mining University probably exists somewhere. It has to. I'm sure it does. It's in western Louisiana somewhere. Yeah. I think that one's in Missouri. If I remember my colleges correctly.
Northern State.
I think the Lakers had a shooting guard who went there one time. That's
I didn't go to college, but that
no.
I think not going to that is more respected than going to that.
It would be like if you went to Desert State College.
Yeah.
What? What is that? Hey everybody, just going to take a quick break from the show to tell you about the safest sponsor ever, Simply Safe. Absolutely, these people will keep you safe. It's amazing. You know that every 26 seconds a burglary takes place in the United States, according to the FBI. That means that by the time this podcast is over, dozens and dozens of homes will have been targeted, ransacked. God knows what happens here. So protect your home before it's too late with Simply Safe proactive security system. Simply Safe helps stop threats before they even have a chance to break in. Named Best Home Security System by U.S. News and World Report 5 years in a row. And by us for about the last 8 years as well. If you trust us, believe me, you want Simply Safe. So visit simplysafe.com/small to claim 50% off a new system with professional monitoring plan and your first month free. That's simplysafe.com/small. There's no safe like Simply Safe.
Now back to the show.
Hey everybody, just going to take a quick break from the show to tell you a little bit about Sono Bello. You know, the most known secret with celebrities and influencers and all these famous people is so many of them have had lipo. They've had lipo, whether it's a little touch-up here or a total makeover. Yeah. Nobody has a perfect body. That's the thing. No. They may look like it on TV, but there's things that help that. Absolutely. Lipo now has changed, and Sono Bello's been at the forefront with using LAL technology and getting those beautiful and natural outcomes for each person. Looking real natural. Our friends at Sono Bello are offering their best deal. You're now included in their winter savings event, but appointments are limited, so please get on this. Sono Bello doctors are masters in micro laser fat removal, a brilliant technique that removes stubborn fat permanently wherever your problem areas are. Tummy, love handles, thighs, arms, it's gone in one comfortable visit. Eating healthy and workouts are great. Keep doing that, but if you want to lose that stubborn fat in one visit, check out Sono Bello. Save big during their winter savings event. Schedule your free consultation now at sonobello.com/smalltownmurder. That's sonobello.com/smalltownmurder.
Now back to the show.
It doesn't even have the name of the state in it, man. So he takes off the morning of the 8th and says bye to mom. He's got classes, and then he's got a bunch of shit to do that day. He's going to hang out with some friends that night, see his girlfriend. He's got a lot going on here. He's looking forward, though, going off into the Black Hills for a hunting trip with his friend and his father as well. Okay. Him and Dad are going to go out on a turkey hunt. So a friend of his, Barry Walther, is the other guy who's coming on the trip. He's been friends with Kinney since the 2nd grade, and they've been planning and preparing this trip for about 3 months. This is what a big deal this is.
That seems like a fucking nightmare of an animal to...
Turkey?
I get that they're probably delicious because I eat turkey too.
Yeah.
But to hunt that, you've got to pick all the balls out of that thing after you shoot it. You got to take all the feathers off of it.
You know how easy they'd be to kill because you go outside when we're done here and you stand outside for a while, you will see turkeys in my woods. Yeah, they're right there. They're not even afraid of us anymore. I could if I wanted to, I don't, but if I wanted to, I could lull one by just standing there, and then I could run up to it and kick it like a football before it would probably realize I was going to attack it. That's how used to us they are.
Yeah.
So, well, yeah, but I wouldn't want to do that because what am I going to do with it then? I got to take it apart and take all the feathers off.
Eat it?
That's a lot.
And that's the defeathering part. Fuck that.
I just leave the corn out there for them to eat. That's all. They eat that and wander back off into the woods.
Would it be funny as a turkey hunting prank, to empty your partner's gun of the bird shot and just put slugs in there?
Where'd it go? Shit.
Well, you have defeathered it, my friend.
Well, I guess they're going to go with 22 rifles, so you won't have to.
That's good. Yeah, through and through, done. Yeah.
I mean, you got to be a very good shot, obviously, but at the same time, you won't have to pick a bunch of shotgun pellets out of the goddamn
Hopefully
thing.
it doesn't. Hopefully the bullet stays together.
I would hope. Yeah, I don't know if there's a turkey bone hard enough to splinter a fucking.
Do you try to hit that tiny head?
That's a really small target. That's a really good shot. You got to be. Plus, they're always moving.
Yeah,
you'd have to time them on the back thing. If you don't know, I'm making a turkey motion with my head. That's why.
Yeah,
back and forth. You'd have to time it on them and get him on his next
steady hand.
When he goes back, I pull the trigger. By the time he's forward, his head's blown off. Okay. You'd have to time that so weird.
You gotta aim at the head, right?
Pop. And it would just fall. That'd be so weird.
Like when that guy in Men in Black gets shot in the
Yeah,
head.
exactly. That's what I mean. I picture like scanners, like it's just with like shit everywhere, just viscera.
Just plasma everywhere.
But you can tell neither of us hunt because we don't know anything about it.
I don't want to do okay, so you shoot something. Now you've got work to do.
That's my problem with it. I want to eat the food. I like food a lot, but I don't. That's so much work. It really is.
God.
What's your time worth, man?
Yeah.
You know, like what's it worth? Go to the store. I get that's you got to spend a few bucks, but bullets are expensive, and you got to buy special clothes to sit in the woods, and then you got to kill it. You got to spend hours taking it apart, preparing it. Seems like
Right.
You could have just
and then these like trophy hunts. You run out there to go shoot a lion. Now you're a butcher, sir, because you know what I mean. No matter what position, no matter what job you have, killing things. Now you're a butcher.
Yeah,
figure it out, motherfucker.
killing. Yeah. Oh Jesus
I
Christ.
can't do it.
It's ridiculous. No, it's crazy. So
I'm incapable. I already know it.
yeah, that's why we don't hunt. Yeah, we know our limitations. That's fine. Nothing wrong with that. So they've been planning this for a long time, and you have to get everything in South Dakota while it's warm.
Yeah,
because they're planning it for early May, which is still probably a little chilly, I would think, at night.
Right.
Because by late August it's winter again, so you really gotta
cold
cram it in there. So Kinney had just Michael Kinney, our guy here, just got his hunting license, had the oil changed in his car. He had a gunsmith adjust the trigger on his shotgun because he's also bringing a shotgun just in case they encounter. Because up here you could encounter grizzly bears in the Black Hills. You better have something stronger than a fucking 22 on you if you're going to wander through the hills all day.
Right.
You never know. There's bears. So he hangs out that day, goes to classes, picks up his guns, has his gets his license, does his whole deal, spends the day hanging out with Barry Walther. They eat some pizza that night, as we'll talk about exactly the kind of pizza they had and everything else. And they're making plans for kind of the final plans for the trip.
Okay.
Exactly what time we're leaving, exactly when we're getting here. Are we going to go here? Are we going to go there? So his friend said he was, a real happy-go-lucky guy that night, chilling. He had no money troubles or anything like that. He's doing just fine. Real relaxed, kind of world at my feet kind of a guy.
Yeah.
Kind of a guy who's, a 20-year-old kid who's got a rich family who he's inheriting everything from. That kind of guy.
Sounds amazing.
Not a lot of worries for his future. So they're planning everything. They're, doing everything like that. About 8:30 p.m., he leaves his friend, leaves Barry, after they ate a bunch of pizza. Their pizza was I want to say sausage, olives, mushrooms, really loaded it up.
Solid choice,
Peppers, maybe. He ends up going over to his girlfriend's house, does Michael Kinney here. Her name is Kelly Mewing. Mewing, what is that kitten doing?
Yeah.
Type of thing. It's mewing.
Patrick Ewing with an M.
Yeah, exactly what it is.
Yeah.
So I prefer my kitten explanation. That was much cuter. I love Patrick Ewing, but he can't compare to a kitten in terms of adorableness. Let's be
now
honest.
Now I just see a very sweaty woman.
Now I see Patrick Ewing standing there. You remember when he would look angry? Because I'm a huge Knicks fan. Love Patrick Ewing.
Remember when he looked angry?
I'm saying
Did he ever
somebody
look happy.
but when someone really pissed him off, got in his face, tried to whatever. That I'm picturing that face. He's looking, sweat stripping off, and he goes, meow. That's what I'm picturing. He's making that noise. Yeah. But looking mean. So they watched a movie on TV. God, I wish I knew what movie, but I don't know what it was. 'Cause I even tried to look up listings. I tried to look up newspapers in South Dakota and find those listings.
The TV guide.
But there was other stuff on. I couldn't really decipher
and they may have
what they were
rented
watching.
something anyway.
That's the other thing. It says on television, but you don't know if it was a tape
on
that they had or
television.
something.
Yeah.
Who the hell knows? I could have had a beta going. We don't know.
Yeah.
So they hang out for about 3 hours, enough time for, probably a little action and a little pre-hunt and good luck action.
Hell yeah.
Little pre-hunt hump and, watching this movie, and then we're going to get going. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So Kinney leaves, and he says, I'll be in touch the next day. Don't worry about it. Obviously I'll talk to you, and I'll call you before I leave and all that kind of shit. So she said goodbye. She waves to him. See you later. That's that.
Yeah.
Now, he never ends up showing up at home that night, though.
To hunt?
So no, at home to sleep, to go
to
hunting
go to bed
the next day.
Before hunting, yeah.
He leaves at 11:30, and the next morning, his mom doesn't see him around, and Sandra's like, well, where the hell is he? So she gets in her car to drive to town like she has to do, and as she's driving to town, she sees Michael's car parked on a side road, on an abandoned gravel road that's on their property, about a quarter mile from their ranch home. And so she's like, that's Michael's car. What the fuck? She pulls down the gravel road. She looks in. On the front seat of the car is a checklist of all the hunting things to do, like go get my license, do all this. There's a checklist there, and the keys are in the car.
No Michael.
No Michael, though. So she's like, well, that's odd. Why the fuck? Why would he park it a quarter mile from the house and walk away? So she starts just kind of being not really worried, but just kind of, what the fuck? I don't know if that's a term. No,
maybe he's sleeping in the woods tonight to prepare for tomorrow night.
I don't know. He's getting used to it. He's getting accustomed to it out there. He's wading in. Maybe he's up to his knees.
Build up a tolerance to this shit.
But there's certain levels of worry. You're what the fuck, and then you're worried after that.
Yeah.
Like, hey, what the fuck's going on? And then like, oh, wow, this is bad. I'm worried. So she's a little, slightly worried, and she calls his friends, starts calling up his friends to try to find out where he is. Now, right away, they have a good relationship if she knows all of her friends' phone numbers. The mother and son and stuff, you know what I mean?
I didn't even want to introduce my friends to my mom, let alone give her their numbers.
Here's a list of numbers, just in case. So these are probably friends he's had a long time that he's, that aren't dirtbags that he hides from his parents, that sort of thing. So that gives you a kind of an idea of who he is right there. So she calls right away the girlfriend first, because that's who you would call first. Maybe he fell asleep over there.
They generally know the most about what's going on in the dude's life.
Yeah, and that's it. Yeah. And I guess it was her birthday, it was his birthday a few days before. So it was his 19th birthday. So maybe the mother called her and was like, "Were you guys maybe like out and having like a late, belated birthday celebration? Had a couple too many, passed out or something like that?" And she said, "No, he watched a movie. He left at 11:30." And so his friends all came over. They start searching around the ranch because it's a huge property.
Right.
I mean, that road's a quarter mile from his house, and it's on their property. So
it's their road. They own a road.
Yeah, it tells you that this is a huge. You got to have a lot of land for horses. You can't have like a regular yard and be breeding horses back there.
Yeah,
that's not
like you can't have. It's not like goats.
No,
you got to give them some room.
You're just in a cul-de-sac and you have like a horse breeding operation going on out of your concrete blocked backyard. Like your backyard. You just breed horses back there.
Yeah, a 6x8 stall for about 30 of them.
It's all keep them in there. They butt up against each other. They get along.
Really got to play Tetris to get the horses put away.
Good God. Man, animals have gotten a lot of shit in our jokes and everything else this week so far. Really taking the brunt of it. So his friends fan out. They're looking for him. They can't find him anywhere. They search all through town, going through all his favorite places that he could be. Is he at the the ice cream spot? Is he having a beer at that drinking hole over there? Yeah. What is he doing? So they can't seem to find him at all. So after the morning and early afternoon of not being able to find him, finally his mother Sandra says, "I got to call the police. This is getting weird." Now the police are like, "So you have a 20-year-old kid who you haven't seen for like 12, who's been missing for sort of 12 hours. Like, it's not really a crime. He could be sleeping one off. He could be tying one on. He could have met a girl. Like, come on, what are we talking about here? But they said, that's fine. I guess we'll check it out, basically. We'll come and look at the car and look for signs of maybe if they're going to come and look and see if there's blood or something on the car, or
at least there's that. Yeah.
Some obvious sign of something, basically. So the next day goes by. Nobody finds him. Nobody hears from him. May 9th goes by.
Okay.
Nothing. So that's the day they're looking for him, and they call the cops. Right. Then 9 a.m. the next morning, May 10th, Sandra McNeil's phone rings.
Uh-oh.
She picks it up. It's an unidentified man.
Okay.
It's a man on the line. She doesn't know who it is. The caller tells her that, in a weird voice, that she should go to a phone booth in a certain bar in Aberdeen. A certain drinking hole has a phone booth. Go there, retrieve an envelope from under the payphone, and that's if you want to know what happened to your son.
Oh, my God.
And then click, hangs up on her. So what do you do if you're her?
Run to that payphone.
Run to that payphone. Yeah.
Do you call the cops? They're going to need that envelope first.
Well, you've already called the cops, so
yeah,
you know,
at this point, fuck off.
Well, yeah, but they did look, and they said, well, if you hear anything, let us know. If we hear anything, we'll let you know. And you know,
she's heard something.
So she runs down to the payphone, grabs the envelope, and the envelope says this, quote, this is the letter inside the envelope anyway. Lucky, by the way, some just cleaning up waitress didn't find this and just, what is this? Drunken idiots, and tore it up and threw it in the garbage. It says, quote, I want $200,000 in 50s and 100s. No cops, nobody knows. You have until Saturday night or Sunday sometime for most of the money or all of it. This is the most, I don't know, sometime Saturday night, maybe Sunday, whatever's convenient for you.
Yeah.
I don't know, try to have most of it at least. We could talk,
Whenever you get it. We'll talk about a due date later.
We could work out a payment plan. I'm not a hard guy. I'm not a hard-hearted guy. We could work it out. We could do a monthly
tough
thing.
To get this much.
There's going to be interest. You understand that. I'm sure you do, but we'll work it out. Maybe we could, let's talk to your finance company. Maybe we can just tack it into your mortgage and make it one big balloon payment, and then we get, you know what I mean? Those consolidation people could probably help you.
Can you take a loan on your 401k? Then you can pay it back. It's free money.
What do you think? Anything like that? Maybe? No?
Read the note again.
You have a penalty if you early withdrawal. I get it. Okay, never mind. Tell you what, most of the money, Saturday night, or sometime Sunday, whenever. Which, by the way, sometime Sunday, which is a terrible plan because go into the weekend and somehow arrange to get $200,000 in cash while all the banks are closed. Do that for me. Thank you.
Sometime Sunday. How about no time Sunday?
Yeah,
they're closed entirely.
They're closed Saturday,
every last
Sunday,
one of them.
All of them. So then he says, I want all of the money before you get your son back. No cops or he dies.
Okay.
So that's the plan. All right. That's what she gets. And she's like, oh, shit, $200,000 they want. What do we do? So she goes directly to the cops, obviously, because anybody would, unless, I don't know.
She's got some evidence right now that we now can't fingerprint because she finger fucked it.
Unless you're a mafia family, you're gonna handle this through the police. Unless you have some sort of network of people out there that can handle this for you. Probably gonna talk to the cops. So she does talk to the cops. The cops say, "All right, well, let's set up a sting." She's supposed to set it up, and we'll talk about this other phone call she gets. Right now, she just knows they want $200,000 by Saturday night or Sunday. They weren't vague. They were pretty vague about it. So. And I don't know what this means. I don't know if there's a special fund that banks have put aside for this or what, but it says that police run around to several local banks to secure $190,000 in cash.
Okay.
So apparently, I don't know if they borrowed it on the basis of they'd bring it back. You know what I mean?
I guess it's under the basis of, don't worry, we're going to just set this in a bag and shoot the motherfucker that comes to get it.
It's just a prop. We're basically, it's a prop. We're just borrowing this prop. Imagine it's like a knight helmet or something. It's the same thing. Just a prop. We'll bring it back.
You try to go to the bank and get that.
It's tough.
Convince them, don't worry, I'll bring it right back.
I'll totally bring it right back. Totally, yeah. And it's easy to shoot a turkey in the head. Any other things I can convince you of? So they do all of this. They secure $190,000. That's all they could pull. They couldn't pull together the last $10,000 for some reason. Or he said most. Let's see if this is enough.
Put an IOU in the bag for $10,000 and we've got $200,000.
That's it. Set up a payment plan, sign it, make it very official. Get it notarized. Dear kidnapper. So they're ready. They bring the money to her, and they're like, okay, keep this with you, and they keep an FBI. The FBI is involved now because it's a ransom situation. So they have FBI agents at her house living there with her, trying to do this. May 13th, so a couple days goes by, and they get another phone call, finally. Okay. 3 days after the first phone call. And they said this phone call instructs her that she is to leave the money near a statue in Aberdeen Park near Northern State University or college there at 9 p.m. 9 p.m. that night. Okay, very important. The caller informs Sandra that Michael is, quote, okay. And to prove that I have him, he is wearing Nike shoes and jeans and this shirt. And that's probably the last thing you saw him in, right? And so she knows that it's real. So she says, can I talk to him? And he says, the caller says, not until I get the money.
Yeah.
And she says, is Mike all right? And the caller says, he's fine. Again, can I talk to him? Not until I get the money. Then she says, oh, please, just let me talk to him. Just let me say one word to him. Just let him talk, say one thing. Just let me know he's there. And the caller says, quote, nope, not until I get the money.
Okay.
And this is all recorded by the FBI. Phones were tapped. You know, the whole Law and Order situation where they're sitting around their living room with like 8 FBI agents and
it's a real investigation.
A briefcase with like a reel-to-reel in it. You know what I mean? Guys with headphones on going, pointing. Yes, now you got him. Okay, keep him talking. Doing this, like the wheel turning. More, keep him talking. It's all happening.
We almost got it. We got to keep him on the line for 78 seconds.
We got to record it, but we couldn't trace the call. We almost had it. He's somewhere in the northern region. That's all we know. So 9:04 p.m. So they're a little late. I don't know. They're really testing. 190 grand. They show up 4 minutes late. They're really pushing it.
Truly, the disrespect.
I'd show up 5 early, wouldn't you? For a ransom exchange, I think I'm showing up a couple minutes
early. You're talking about the kids got to be like, what the fuck, guys?
Hey, Ma. Well, I mean, what the fuck, Ma? Jesus Christ. Oh, Ma.
What time is it?
Swear to God, we eat dinner like 8:30 every night. This fucking lady never on time. Never on time.
The money's not there. It's not even there on time.
Jesus.
Now they know how mortgage companies feel.
All the time. Fuck, it's late again. All right. Almost all. It's almost all of it, I suppose. Can't really kick them out for that.
1180. Your total's 1320. What's happening?
You know what? We're going to go ahead and take this for now, though.
Oh, we'll take all that.
So 9:04, they show up. It's Sandra McNeil. It's mom and a woman FBI agent posing as her niece.
Okay.
So they just have one that sort of looks like a niece of hers, and they have her just dressed like her niece and go with her. Like she's just like a 20-year-old chick hanging out with her aunt.
The most youthful FBI agent they have.
Come on, sweetie. Come do the ransom drop with me is a very strange family outing also, isn't it? Like,
it is, yeah.
No, we're just coming to take your daughter to go do a ransom drop. No, the FBI will be there. It's fine. Don't worry about it. So they drop off $190,000 in cash, and there's a false bottom in the briefcase that contains a tracking device.
Hell yeah, 1985.
Of course, yeah. It probably weighed more than the suitcase of money. It was the entire fucking false bottom. It was a huge, giant thing, but it was a tracking device.
Giant cinder block in the bottom of this thing.
Pretty much. I don't even think it was GPS at the time. I think it was like a sonar type of thing. Like they had
handheld thing that blinked a red light.
Well, where they had to stay within a certain range of it to keep it,
right.
To keep the whatever. So they do all of that. They drop it off. Then mom goes home. Okay. Now she's got at home are like everyone she knows is like hanging out there. She's got a bunch of police officers hanging out there they're just interested in the case at this point.
Right.
Hanging out. His girlfriend's there. Michael's girlfriend Mewing is there. His buddy Walther that was supposed to go hunting with him is there.
Right.
Everybody's sitting around hanging out at the house waiting. So the suitcase sits there for an hour by the statue.
All right.
FBI agents fucking everywhere, by the way.
The suspense is crazy. Everywhere.
In every window, all over the place. They have a helicopter just off site ready to fucking follow the person if they lose them. Yeah. I mean, it's really, you're fucked. This person's fucked. So they pull up, right? Everything's going. A car pulls up. It's a blue Oldsmobile.
Uh-huh.
That pulls up, a 75 Oldsmobile. It's blue, so a big piece of shit.
Yeah.
Pulls on up. A young man gets out.
Oh.
Okay. Runs up there, grabs the suitcase, runs back to his car, and hops in and pulls off in the blue Oldsmobile. So obviously the cops follow him, or FBI agents follow him at a decent distance. At about 1:50, they follow him for a couple hours. They want to see where he's going. Because they don't know if this is the kidnapper, or if this is some, one of the kidnappers who's now going to take this money to the main kidnapper hideout where they have Michael tied to a chair, presumably, with a gag in his mouth, soaked in gasoline.
A Northern State College fraternity boy who just saw the thing get dropped.
And was like, what's in that briefcase, man?
I'm going to get it.
I'm going to get it. But the car pulled up, got it, pulled away. So they know it's there. So they follow him all the way to Minnesota.
Wow, out of state.
Driving out of state. That's why it's good that the FBI is involved in this at this point. At 1:15 in the morning now. So this is 3 hours later after he's picked up the suitcase. The beeper, it's raining. It's raining really hard. The car, by the way, is going sometimes 85 miles an hour and a 50. Like it's driving kind of crazy. And the rain, I guess, is hampering the beeper, the tracker's signal. Because this is not GPS. This is 1985 tracking technology. So stay real close to it and point something at it and make sure it's not raining or cloudy or there's a tree in the way. So they decide before this person obviously gets to where they're going, they have to pull him over because they can't lose him. They don't want to lose him. So they pull him over here, and he's got it's a 20-year-old young man, and he's got a 17-year-old girl with him.
Oh.
We'll talk about that. This is in Starbuck, Minnesota, where Starbucks was born. It wasn't, but it's Starbuck, Minnesota.
Really?
It absolutely is. Now, the girl, they said the authorities here, they don't think the girl is in on the conspiracy, and she's going to be released later back to her parents, and we'll find out that that's his cousin, actually. Well, this guy's cousin. The young man is Todd Michael Miller.
Okay.
Is his name. He's 20 years old. And Todd Michael Miller has a wife already, and his son was born on May 7th. So
brand new dad.
This is Kinney disappeared the day after Todd's son was born. So he's got a son named Jesse that's born on May 7th. Now, that's the guy who they tracked him before he left Aberdeen. He took the suitcase, dropped his car off, changed clothes, switched to an orange Camaro that he started driving, and picked up his 17-year-old sister, Paula. Not his cousin, his sister. So picks up his 17-year-old sister, changes clothes, grabs the Camaro, and takes off. And that's what the cops follow.
Yeah.
Heading off to Starbuck. He's a kid. He works on his father's ranch. His father has a ranch where they sell horses and breed horses. It seems like everybody in this area has a horse ranch at this time. There's not
everybody that's involved in this story.
At least everyone, it's there. So they had followed Miller across the border to Starbuck. They stopped his car at a roadblock and arrested him. They said that the car had gone really fast at times, and they were worried about losing him. At the scene where they catch him and arrest him, obviously because he's carrying ransom money, that's a crime. They find the briefcase in the Camaro, and it contained most of the ransom money. Had $189,180 in it. So
spent a little bit of cash already.
Well, then they said that in his wallet he had $760, which still doesn't equal $190,000. He might have stopped and got a sandwich or gave his mom $20 or something. But that was found in the briefcase of the trunk. The briefcase was found in the trunk. The rest of the money was in the wallet. The money is traced through serial numbers.
Right.
So the money in his wallet was $800. Well, in his wallet was $862 total. $760 of it identified as bills that came from the ransom.
So he had a little bit of fold money.
Yeah, he had like $100 of his own money, $102 of his own money in there. They said, "Where'd you get this money in your wallet?" And he said, "Well, that's $500 of that I withdrew from my bank account. I have $500. I took it out of my bank account." They said, "Well, there's way more than $500 in the wallet." And he said, "Well, the rest, I got $500 out of the bank. The rest of it was given to me by a guy." So, okay.
Why lie at that point?
You have a briefcase full of money in your car that you switched cars with. So you couldn't say, I didn't even know there was a briefcase. They saw you take it, and then you switched it and put it in another car. So this is your briefcase, man. So they said, "Well, who gave it to you?" And he's like, Mr. Bob Jacobs is his name.
Yeah.
Yep. Mr. Bob gave it to me as traveling money because Jacobs, now follow close, cops, okay? I know you guys are a little stunad. Maybe you won't You won't follow my logic, a big horse trader like me, but this Jacobs guy was supposed to buy a horse from me, see? That's the thing. This guy, he's in Alexandria, Minnesota, this Jacobs guy. So, this was traveling money to deliver his horse. That's how this works, because I'm going to sell him a horse, right? So then out of nowhere, the Department of Criminal Investigation agent, Douglas Lake is his name, he asks Miller, just quote, "Where's Mike?" Just says that. Just interjects, "Where's Mike?" Let's cut to the chase here. Where's your fucking friend that we're looking for?
We don't got a lot of we don't got time for this.
I don't care about Bob Jacobs. Is anyone holding him for ransom? If not, I don't give a shit. So,
right.
Where's Mike? And he responded this. And by the way, the guy's name is Mike Kinney, we know. That's missing. But his mom's maiden name is McNeil, and the farm is under McNeil. He says this, quote, "I wouldn't hurt Mike McNeil. He's my best friend."
Best friend, you don't know his last name.
Best friend, but you missaid his last name, which is odd.
You don't even know it.
You don't know, but he does know him, we'll find out. That's the thing. He's a childhood school bus companion. They rode the same bus to school together when they were kids. And kind of knew each other a little bit through the years, but that was their main connection. Is in the 5th grade, they rode the bus together.
Why is he calling Mike McNeil?
Mike McNeil. I don't know. That's not his name.
That's
obviously.
Bizarre.
It's very bizarre. And they both graduated from Aberdeen Central High School in 1984. But everybody says they've just been acquaintances through high school. They weren't best friends by any stretch of the imagination. And his friend Barry, who is his best friend, and they're planning to go hunting. If it's Mike's dad and another guy, that guy is Mike's best friend if he's taking him to hunt with his dad. So, you know what I mean? Like, it's not his best friend, this guy. So it's a very strange thing. The only thing they have in common is going to the same school, and they both come from ranching backgrounds. Yeah, that's it. So they said. The other thing is, at that point, none of them had mentioned Mike's last name. They just said, "Where's Mike?" Mm-hmm. So this kid, he just came out with, "I know exactly what you're talking about." And
I know which kid. Yeah, I know which Mike you're talking about. There's not more than one Mike in this town.
Never. No. This town, one Mike. College, there's only one Mike allowed in college.
Meanwhile, this kid's middle name is Mike.
His middle name is Michael, exactly. So this Todd Miller here says that, I don't know if because they're like, "Do you think he's in danger?" And he's like, "I don't fucking know." He didn't say anything about it. I don't know. I don't know anything about it. So the agent turns Miller over to the Aberdeen Police Department, tells Todd, "Go with these guys." And the agent from the investigative unit tells the officers that Bob Jacobs, this is what he's telling us. He's telling, to get you guys up to speed, he's telling us a Bob Jacobs, who's an acquaintance of his, asked him to pick up a package behind the statue in the park. So this guy wants you to buy a horse from you, but also pick up a package behind a statue in a park.
Be my courier for weird shit.
For weird shit. Yeah, nobody leaves legitimate things behind a statue in a park for somebody. Ever. And
a package. It's a fucking briefcase full of cash, man.
That's really weird. I'm sorry. I'm suspicious at that point. So, hey everybody, just going to take a quick break from the show to tell you a little bit more about our stylish friends at Quince. That's right. Let's go elevate your styles, people. Yeah. Get it going, look good out there, and you can do it now without breaking your wallet, without breaking the bank, because at Quince, you can get high-end, versatile pieces at prices we can all actually afford, which is very nice. You want to get good stuff that lasts and it's good, and they have quality stuff that's very affordable, and you can do like we did, upgrading our stuff here, while still being a very reasonable price. Quince only works with factories that use safe, ethical, responsible manufacturing practices, along with premium fabrics and finishes. It's all quality stuff. You're going to love it. Trust us, it looks good. And I've got the leather jacket. It's a very high quality item. Real nice, soft leather. Yeah. Jimmie's got his linen pants he's rocking.
Yeah, they're terrific.
Come on, be like us. Be fashionable. Get in there with Quince. Indulge in affordable luxury. Go to quince.com/smalltownmurder for free shipping on your order and 365-day returns. That's QUINCE.com/smalltownmurder to get free shipping and 365-day returns. Quince.com/smalltownmurder.
Now back to the show.
Hey, everybody, just going to take a quick break from the show to tell you a little bit about a very cool place, Thrive Market. Yes, we are both looking to get into the healthy swing this year. The problem is I don't know what's in everything, and I don't know if even I'm qualified to even read the labels to know if that's good or that's bad.
Right.
There's chemicals in things, and there's things floating around. I don't know what I'm doing out there. One of my favorite features, and I know you were talking to me about this, is the Healthy Swap Scanner in the Thrive Market app. Yeah, it's simple. You scan any item, and it'll instantly suggest a cleaner, healthier grocery alternative, it's great. Amazing. Yeah. That's great. Thrive Market also takes the guesswork out of finding these safe, healthy foods. For example, like I'm trying to get my protein intake up for energy. I'm always moving around. I need stuff, and I love that you can filter their site by the high protein options. Nice. It's very cool, and you can personalize this portion, and you can put filters on it. And get ready. You should be ready for a junk-free start to 2025. Get ready for it and head to thrivemarket.com/smalltownmurder and get 30% off your first order plus a free $60 gift. That's THRIVE market.com/smalltownmurder, thrivemarket.com/smalltownmurder.
Now back to the show.
They said that they said he told us that he was supposed to deliver it to Jacobs in Alexandria, Minnesota, and in exchange for doing that, then Jacobs would buy a horse from him for $45,000.
Okay.
So once you go there, you pick up that money and bring it to him. He's going to chop you off $45,000. You go back and get his horse, and then the deal is sealed. All right. Well, they said, well, how does this guy have so much $190,000 in cash to be throwing around in a briefcase?
Yeah.
What's the deal with
that? Yeah.
What's the deal with that? Like, who would be leaving him that much money behind a statue? Like,
yeah,
it's not a bank loan. Wells Fargo doesn't leave shit behind the statue.
I wouldn't leave $500 out in the open somewhere.
No, under a rock anyway.
Right.
Yeah, the bank doesn't say like, well, your mortgage came through just fine. You can pick it up in cash in a briefcase behind the statue in the town square. That's where we'll leave it at exactly 9:04.
And every month on the 15th, we expect you to put a check there to pay it back.
There's a special check rock. You'll see it. It's got our logo on it. We painted it.
Ridiculous.
This is ridiculous. So Todd Miller says, I think that Jacobs must be involved with drugs, and that's what I think that's the whole thing. He had me probably pick up drug money so he could buy a horse with it. Okay. It's getting to be a deep plot here, I would say. So the officers, I love the way they put this, by the way, in the court document. Quote, the officers suggested that his story seemed untrue. In other words, they said,
bullshit.
Yeah, they said, I don't know, Todd. I mean, it's interesting, but that sounds like the biggest load of shit I've ever been fed in my life. That's what that sounds like to me. I'm not going to lie, but what if I said that to you? Would you believe it, honestly? Todd,
I didn't grow up on a horse farm, but that story sounds like horse shit.
Horse shit. Didn't grow up on a horse farm, but I do know the smell of horse shit when it wafts toward me. So I'm just going to say that's horse shit, Todd.
Todd, you and I both know that is horse shit.
Oh, how many times they were like, Todd, like making Todd into 12 syllables.
Eventually, they just made a face that said, Todd.
Dude, the voice is getting lower. Todd.
Yeah, Todd. You know, that's not true. Todd.
Must we mew at you? Is that what you need? Because I will. I'll mew right now, motherfucker. So they're like, this sounds like bullshit. And they said, listen, fucking, feed us the real story here. And he said, okay, you're right. Obviously, that was Jacobs and the drug. Silly. Totally silly.
Story's going to change now.
And I want to help. Michael Kinney out, too. I really do. I'm friends with the guy. I told you, my best friend. Best friend.
Yeah.
Your best friend in the world, whose name I don't know. We're best friends, so, I'd like to help you, too. And the cops go, well, if you'd like to help and help your friend to make sure he's okay, this is the time to be truthful, pal. And he said, okay, all right, well, here's the real truth, all right? This is story number 2 and the real truth. I'm not bullshitting now. So he said, listen, Jacobs, remember Jacobs that I told you about? Well, it's where he's back again, so he's in this story too.
Yep.
He told me by telephone, okay, to call Mrs. McNeil, call Michael's mom, and then also to deliver the envelope to the bar. So I did that too. I'm sorry. I should have told you that too. But this Jacobs is apparently like a criminal mastermind, and I was a little bit freaked out by him.
So Todd is now telling us, I made the phone call, I put the note, I picked up the cash.
So now, yes, now we know he picked up the cash. Now he's also admitting to the phone call and writing the note.
Yeah.
And placing the note as well. But all at the behest of this terrible, terrible Mr. Jacobs, man, who is just an awful, awful man. So he said that, Miller says that they told me if I refused, Jacobs said he told me that I'd never see my friend again. So he must have had Kinney, and if I refused, he's saying he's going to kill Kinney. It's like, I don't know what to do. He said, so then he got a second call, Todd got a second call from this Jacobs guy. This Jacobs is a monster, I'm telling you.
The real telephone terrorist, this guy.
He's going to lay down the law over there. And he said in this call, Jacobs doubled down on the threat. Not only will I hurt your friend, I will kill your newborn baby.
Oh.
Your baby and your pretty young wife there, Cindy, she's going to die too. That's right. I'll kill Cindy's ass too. I'll kill Cindy. I'll kill babies.
Yeah.
I'll kill your wife. I'll kill your wife, your baby, and your best friend. That's where I'm at right now. I will.
Right.
Test me. I'll kill your mom. I swear to God, I'm this close. I'm this fucking
close. Right the ladder, Todd.
So he said he had to do it. He felt like he had no choice in the matter. And he, according to him, he picked up the money. And he was taking it to a motel in Alexandria, Minnesota. That was Todd's job, according to Todd. And that was so far, that's explanation number 3, because he had the original explanation when they pulled him over. Then he had a bullshit story. Now he's got his third one. The next day, they were like, okay. So Todd's like, today's the day I'm supposed to make the drop, man.
Yeah.
I'm supposed to be in Alexandria. I'm supposed to make this drop. Jacobs is going to be, he's going to know something's up if I'm not there. So they go, sweet, we'll wire you up, and we're going to take you over to Alexandria, and we're going to do a sting operation, baby. So this is exciting.
We're going to swear you in.
Oh, dude, they wire him up, man. They got his whole thing, and he's got a 1985 giant recorder on him. Donnie Brasco style. He's trying to figure this out.
Like he's got a Walkman on his hip.
Like he's got, that's the best way to play it would be to come in with a Walkman, like dancing. Yeah. Walking on sunshine. You got the money? Yeah, I did. Oh, it's starting to feel all right now. I don't know what's out in 85. Ghostbusters. Yeah. Love this Ghostbusters song. Haven't seen the movie, but I think I'm going to just because of this song, man. It's fucking rocks.
Is Golden Earrings Twilight Zone out yet? It's got to be.
I'm sure it's been out for a while.
Yeah, the bullet hits the bone.
Oh, yeah, I'm sure he loves it all.
It's a good one.
He's into it,
Such
man.
a great song.
Just pick anything from the mid-'80s and groove to
it. Shock the monkey.
Don't you know you got to sledgehammer.
There was a lot of songs. There was a lot of songs with hoo in them.
Oh, hoo-hoos, yeah, a lot of hoo-hoos.
That was the big deal then.
Studio. Yeah, because there's a lot of saxophone going on.
Yeah.
There was a weird 50s revival, so there's a lot of saxophone. So you had to do all of that. Whoa, here she comes. You like Hall & Oates? Fucking this rocks right here, yeah. She's a man-eater, baby. You want your money? I got your cash, bro. Cool. Whoa, here she comes. Dude, you got to get this fucking tape, dude. It rocks.
How crazy is that?
One guy has a mustache and one guy doesn't. It's wild, bro. I'm telling you.
A lot of woo-hoos and whoas. And those guys were badass.
Roll is still beat. Singing Huey Lewis.
A fun time. Music was a fucking joke, man.
Oh, it was terrible. It's just like now. We are in 1985 musically.
Woo and hoo.
Yeah, we're in 1985 musically.
We are right now.
Eventually, there will be a Milli Vanilli to bring it all down, and then we'll bring it back to where people actually maybe can sing and actually know how to play an instrument or two. So. Even fucking rap now. They don't even have rap lyrics. It's just
it's so weird.
There's just one line and they're just like, it doesn't even matter what it is. They could say anything. Just going to get some paper towels, and they'll just say it over and over, and that'll be the whole song. Paper towels, and it'll just have like some weird paper towels going, and it's just like some different weird auto-tune shit with like slow, quicker picker upper.
I don't know what these motherfuckers sound like. I don't know because they don't.
Brawny.
They don't use their voice.
Brawny.
So fucked.
It's so weird.
Garbage.
So either way, and other music is just as bad. So it's bad stuff. We have to get it back to something else. Music is very cyclical though. It all was crap, and then it changed a little bit, and then you could have like 3 guys with instruments, or RZA in his basement with his fucking mixing and put something good together like that, and it'll get back to that again. But either way, next day here, none of that matters. They wire up Todd Miller.
Okay.
He's going, okay? He's taken to the motel in Alexandria by the FBI and set out there with his briefcase. He's standing out there waiting at the predetermined time and place, but Jacobs doesn't show, man.
No?
He's on to them.
Oh.
Jacobs must be on to them.
He smelled a rat.
He smelled it coming. This Jacobs, to get to this level, he must have a sixth sense for what's going to happen in the crime world anyway. I mean, people dropping him off $200,000 behind statues.
Sure.
Jacobs doesn't show. Miller is shrugging. I don't know what's going on, Todd says. I don't know what could have happened. So they take him back to Aberdeen, and they held him in custody, okay? Yeah. They're going to just hold him here. An FBI agent interviews him on May 16th, interviews Todd, at which time Todd said, okay, here's what really happened. I got
another story.
You've heard 3, here's 4. What's the difference, right? He said,
changing?
What's changing here? He said, May 7th, okay, I went out the evening after my son was born, and I was celebrating the birth of my son at a bar with some friends.
As you do, yes. Sir.
As you do, which must have gone over really well at home, I'm sure.
At least in the delivery ward of the hospital.
She's probably home. She just got home. There's just like diapers scattered everywhere.
The day before, she's still in the hospital. She's still in there.
If it was natural, they'll kick you out in 24, though.
Is it 24?
I
feel like I stayed 48.
I don't know, unless there's a problem.
I don't remember,
unless there's issues. But a healthy delivery there.
Who I had the baby.
I was going to say, the hospital can't do anything about who your ex-wife is, Jimmie.
That's a problem.
That's a problem, but that's not going to help, I don't think.
We've determined you have than a doctor.
Mr. Whisman, congratulations. You have a healthy baby boy, and your wife's a real bitch, though. That's my medical. That's my medical opinion. Your son, fabulous, healthy. He's going to live a strong life. You're going to be very happy together. I'd divorce her, though. I'm just saying. I get that I see people at their worst. They're in the most pain, but that was different. That was different, Mr. Whisman. I'm just saying right now. That was
high five for the baby and a little warning about your future.
I'm just telling you. You should
be a lot of
open mind.
A lot of tears coming up, sir.
Open mind.
How are you on depression? I don't handle it well. Oh, boy, it's going to get bad.
Well, then, I suggest in the next 24 hours, you better go out to a bar with your friends and celebrate, because you're going to need a pick-me-up.
At least enjoy the child for a minute.
No shit. So this is the day, the night before Michael disappears, okay? So he says he leaves the bar around 11 p.m., just, feeling good. He handed out cigars, I'm sure, and everything was great. He said as he left the bar, he dips into an alley to walk through to the other street to go to his car, and he's approached by 2 men.
Yeah.
Okay. They were both big. One white man, and his words, quote, a white man and an Indian. Okay. So came at him. They held him in the alley, would not let him leave, and they asked him for a favor. Said, hey, buddy, you're going to do us a favor. At that point, the white man punched him in the stomach very hard. To let him know he means, but this guy's seen a lot of movies, is what I mean. They pull you into an alley, and one guy talks while the other punches you in the stomach and go, you listening up good there, buddy? Poof, I'm listening. Oh, okay. You hear it now? So
now you're tuned up.
Now you're all tuned up. Now you're all tuned in, aren't you? That's right. Well, get on the right frequency, pal, because it's coming. So he said the white man then made a veiled threat against Miller and his baby. Somehow they knew that his baby was alive, even though it was 24 hours old. They already knew about it. So word gets around fast in this town. And then, so they said, you're going to do us a favor, pow. And then if you don't, we're going to kill that little baby of yours, all right? You ready? You're going to do us a favor. And he went, oh, I'll do you a favor. And then they said, all right. And they let him go. We'll get back to you. We'll get back to you with the favor. But we needed to get you in a holding pattern. He's committed now. Yeah, he's not right this minute, but now you're committed to a future favor. So you know we mean
bad
business.
Stories.
You know we mean business. So he said he went home, and he said a call came in to him. He didn't give these people his phone number, but
they've got his number though too. Okay,
they got his number. These are all knowing people here.
My God, they're good.
And he said he recognized the voice immediately as the voice of the white man in the alley who punched him in the stomach.
Yeah.
He met him once, so he should know his voice.
Oh, you never forget it.
Imprinted. Never. You never forget the guy who you met one time. So he recognized him, and he said at that point, the white man called him and instructed him to take a note from his mailbox, Todd's mailbox. He said, go in your mailbox and check. There'll be a note in there. Take that note and deliver it to this bar.
Oh.
So Mrs. McNeil can get it. And if you don't do it, I'm going to kill your friend Mike, I'm going to kill your baby, and I'm going to kill your wife. Everybody's dead. So this is what you're going to do. He said Kinney he said that Kinney is wearing, he said also when you talk to the mother, just so she knows you mean business, Kinney, who I have next to me right now, this is the mysterious white man from the alley, right. He says he's wearing blue jeans and Nikes, so you should tell the mother that, so the mother knows that it's really him. Because I got him right here. So Todd said he did as he was told. He made the process, he called Mrs. McNeil on May 10th. On May 12th, he said that's when he got another phone call from the white man. Jesus, this guy, he's just never stops. Received another call, and this time he had more instructions regarding the ransom money. And that's Todd relayed that to Sandra McNeil. What was he supposed to do? All he could do is be a middleman. Miller says he was promised, quote, some money if he followed orders, but he doesn't know how much it was. They just said, we'll take care of you. We'll give you some money if you do this for us.
We'll settle up with you.
And we won't kill you and your baby. So win-win for you.
So many wins. You're going to be winning all day.
It's just a win-win situation at this point. So no problem. He said as a cover story to explain his trip to Minnesota, he told the FBI agent, because he was scared. He told the FBI agent about the horse and Mr. Jacobs, who doesn't exist, and all that sort of thing. So he said he got the ransom money that he was told to get, Todd says, and he went to an Aberdeen bar, tried to recruit his friend to join him on a trip. Before he picked up Paula, he tried to get his friend Toby Whitlinger to join him, and Toby said no. By the way, the pitch for Toby is amazing. I'll get into this.
Oh, boy.
He offered Toby, come with me to Alexandria, Minnesota. I got to do all this shit. I'll give you $50. So he thought he's getting away scot-free with $190,000, and he offers his friend $50 to come with him. He's a cheap twat, too, this
Truly,
Miller.
what a dick.
What a dick.
Well, he thought he was getting $200,000.
Yeah, I thought he was getting $200,000, so I'll give you $50. So this guy said, Toby Whitlinger said he didn't want to go, so that's when he called his sister Paul, and he just said, hey, you want to go for a ride with me to Minnesota? And she was like, sure, why not? 17.
Why does he need a friend?
I don't know. It's a long trip. He just doesn't want to drive alone.
It's going to be boring.
I like to play the license plate game in the car, okay?
I can't do it alone.
It's fucking boring alone. I always win. I hate it. So 2 days later, on May 18th, now 2 days later in our current timeline, not the past, 2 days later, it's May 18th, and Miller says, hey, I'd like to talk to Agent Moore, the FBI agent. And they said, okay. And he said, I got another story. Everything I've told you so far isn't true. Remember how I told you 4 stories? None of those are true, okay? This now, the
I've
fifth story.
I've been thinking up one, and I got a really good one for him. I think he's going to like it.
Well, it's just my conscience has been eating me alive. Yeah. I can't lie. You know what I mean? I have a real George Washington type of thing going on.
Yeah.
So it's just not cool for me to lie. I'm trying to really channel my inner Marty McFly, who I don't think would lie. I really don't. I don't think he would lie. even if it meant that his mom was coming on to him, I don't think he would tell the truth. I think he'd just skate through it.
I feel like I'm cherry treeing this whole thing.
I'm going to cherry tree this bitch for you right now. Let's do this. All right. Check this out. Okay, Agent Moore. Here's the thing. Michael Kinney, our missing kidnapping victim, and I'm putting
my
that
best
in air.
friend. Yeah.
My best buddy, obviously,
Yeah.
who I'm putting in air quotes here, being Todd Miller, our victim. He actually, this is all him.
Oh, he kidnapped himself?
He initiated the whole thing.
Yeah.
He said, this isn't even, all I know is, he goes, this is, Kinney wanted to extort money from his mother. And he didn't want to wait for an inheritance. He wanted to extort a bunch of money from his mother. I think he's got a drug thing going on. Yeah. And basically, he initiated it, and he just asked me if I would help him out, and he'd throw me a few bucks. And I was like, sure, I don't give a fuck if you're stealing money from your mom. Cool, I'll do it. He said, so I don't know. He said, my job in the scheme was to call Sandra McNeil and to pick up the ransom, and then I suggested that we'd meet up at the motel in Alexandria to do the drop off to him. That's it. So I mean, it's all him though. It's Michael Kinney. I didn't want to tell you till now. I've been telling you all these lies to protect him. Protect our whole scheme here. But that's really what it is. He said that Kinney had told him. He said Michael told me that he was in some kind of trouble. And Todd says he just assumed it was drug related, because why else would you need a whole bunch of money and to get away? It's got to be a drug thing, He said, so on May 7th, Todd says that he told Kinney he was backing out. He said, I told Michael I'm not doing this anymore. I can't do it. That's crazy. But then the next day, he said, Todd says he received a phone call from an unknown man. It's really easy when you can just throw an unknown man in there on a phone. He had a voice like this, and he said, you will do what you're told. You have no choice, or your baby will die. I'll kill him. The taste of newborn blood.
An unknown man.
Unknown man with a deep voice.
Yeah, the carpet pissers.
That way he's scarier. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
he makes him. If he called up and he was just like, hey, what's going on, pal? Tell you what, we're going to kill your baby. What do you think of that? You'd be like, fuck you. When a guy's like, we're going to kill your baby, you're like, oh, God, James Earl Jones is going to kill our baby. Watch out. Makes it much scarier.
Boy.
This unknown person informed Miller here that he had to follow through with the plan, or what do you think would happen?
They'll cut off his Johnson.
His baby would be killed.
Yeah.
That's always the thing, too. They go
Always
right to
threaten the child.
threaten the baby's life, which is hilarious. So Todd then said, yes, I admit it. I wrote the ransom note, and I made the calls to Mrs. McNeil, but that was part of the plan. Todd couldn't, or Michael couldn't call his mom himself. She'd have recognized his number. She'd have recognized, or his voice. She'd have recognized his handwriting. Had to be me. And he said that on May 12th, the deep-voiced man called him again and said, quote, do as you're told. Nobody else is involved, and nobody gets hurt. Click. So he said, fuck. He said, they said, well, you picked up the money. Okay, so that all tracks. You did that. Then you picked up the money, and then you disobeyed. So you obeyed everything except nobody else gets involved. You went and picked up your little sister.
Yeah.
And they said, why'd you pick up your 17-year-old sister? And he said, well, that's for protection.
Oh, yeah.
Because, that's when I'm looking
She's
for
a bad
backup.
bitch, man.
When I'm looking for physical backup for a possibly deadly crime situation, I'm like, where's the nearest high school junior girl I'm looking for? Or boy, really, it doesn't matter. But especially, I need a 17-year-old girl.
I'm going to need her to kick the ass of a man who's willing to slaughter a newborn.
Who's dying to decapitate my baby. Can't wait.
This man will kill babies. You think he's going to not kill a 17-year-old girl?
And that's what the cops said to him. They go, well, that sounds stupid. And he said, hey, quote, there's safety in numbers.
This kid is a dummy.
If you brought like 24 17-year-old girls, yeah, there's safety in that. But just another person to kill is just all you brought. Somebody else to murder.
Probably within 24 17-year-old girls, one of them's going to get a pretty good shot in.
Probably.
It's going to daze me.
I'm saying something.
I don't think I could beat up 24 of them.
No, they wear rings and shit. It'll hurt.
Yeah. They get their nails done. They're clawing your fucking face off.
And there's a couple, I'm sure, that been doing like some sort of jujitsu since they were 9 or something.
Yeah, it's a UFC fan.
A couple of them fight, I'm sure. Yeah. Even 17-year-old girls. So they're out there. She's the captain of the wrestling team or something. Twist you into a pretzel. It's possible. So he says that Michael Kinney approached him with this plan all the way back in April. At first, and then he said that 2 others also were there who he doesn't know who they were. They were Michael Kinney's friends who were also in on the plotting of the conspiracy, and they had 3 different meetings from April 26th through May 3rd, all to plan this and plot it.
It's a lot of trust you got in 3 separate guys that they won't say something about this.
No shit. And then Michael Kinney, for some reason, went and got a hunting license and made plans to go on a trip and got his rifles adjusted and did all of his shit, which is very strange. And so, Todd says they're supposed to meet up in Alexandria and divide up the ransom between them, and that's how it would work here. So, they asked his friend that he asked to go on the trip, the Toby Whitlinger guy. He said he told Toby that he had to go collect $45,000 for a horse he sold. So he was telling him one of the stories he told the cops. And Whitlinger didn't go because he said he had a job interview the next day, and also because he was suspicious. He said it seemed kind of strange to go down and pick up $45,000. We would have left around midnight. I had more or less a gut feeling something was wrong. And Miller offered him $50 to do that. Another friend here, here's a guy who saw Todd Miller the night that the ransom money was picked up in the park, he says, because they talked to other people and they're looking for witnesses. This is Brian Kubler of Aberdeen. He's 20. He said that Miller appeared to be nervous that night when he saw him. He said he was upset about something. I could tell he was nervous. He had a pale look on his face. He was talking really fast. That was the night he was picking up $200,000 or $190,000 in ransom money. That's why he was nervous, probably. So they, based on this story that comes out now, that this was all a big extortion plot, the FBI is asked by the press, are you going to arrest Michael Kinney?
Yeah.
And the FBI spokesman said, we have to consider that option, but at this point, no. They said, we have nothing to charge Kinney with. If we did, he'd already be charged. So they said, we've looked into a list of suspects. We've eliminated some. They said, we've ruled out some things, but there's still a lot we have to look at. The biggest thing right now we need to do is talk with Michael Kinney. Okay. So now they put out the next day, as a result of the interview with Todd Miller in his 5th story, the FBI issues a warrant for Michael Kinney's arrest. Okay. The investigators also find an eyewitness who claims to have seen Michael Kinney at the hotel, the motel that was supposed to be the exchange point in Alexandria on the evening of May 13th. Okay. Now, so there's that. The motel records have been subpoenaed trying to confirm something, but obviously back then people could sign in under any name. They said that the officers and the FBI said that the sighting appears to be a solid one, but they're trying to pinpoint the time. And so, they're trying to do that. There's also an anonymous phone tip from a woman who indicated that Michael Kinney could be found hiding out at an abandoned farm southeast of Aberdeen. Okay. So this triggers, a fucking massive, they go out to get him. They search a 5 to 6 mile radius of Aberdeen, but they don't find him in southeastern Aberdeen. So they're trying to figure out what's the deal with Michael. Does he have problems? Does Michael Kinney have financial problems? So they look into it. He got a pretty good size inheritance from his grandmother. That's in some kind of trust or something. He also is set up to inherit his mother's interest in the Quarter and Painted Horse Ranch. And also, Kinney's stepfather died the year before, left everything in his estate to Kinney's mother. Sandra McNeil, which would all go to him.
Right.
So he
He's
had
gonna be
several.
fine.
He has several inheritances coming through. So they said that doesn't suggest a real motive for needing money for Michael Kinney because he seems to have money. And they checked it out, and he had like almost $3,000 in his checking account.
And he's enrolled in college. He's
Yeah.
got things to do.
If you're 20 and you live at home and it's 1985 and you have $3,000 in your checking account, you're on top of the fucking world. You could go to Hawaii back then. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You could go to you could do a lot with that back then.
Yeah.
So they were they're asking what the hell, basically, and this is what a Brown County state attorney said. This is like the prosecutor. They said, we don't know what's going on with Michael. They said it could have been drugs. It could have been just he wanted to rip off his parents for a large sum of money. I guess it's all speculation at this point until we get some additional information and talk to him.
That is fascinating how they're focusing on him as being a criminal.
He's the extortion. Yeah, he's extorted. He's trying to extort his mom. May 24th, 1985, Todd Miller's released from jail.
Oh, is that right?
He's released. He had a $100,000 bond, or bail, that's what it was set at, but it is then reduced to $10,000, and he's allowed to put up 10% of that. So for $1,000, he's out of jail. Out.
Fascinating.
And at home with his parents. The federal charges he faces are interstate transportation of stolen property and interference with commerce by threats of violence. And also the state charge is grand theft and theft by threats.
Okay.
For taking the money.
The money, yeah.
So if convicted, the combined penalty for this is $20,000 fine and up to 30 years in prison if convicted on the federal charges. It's still a lot, and the state maximum's 10 years on this. So the state also intends to charge Paula as an adult with aiding and abetting grand theft as well, his little sister, which is crazy. So either way, they're like, they let him go. He's the secondary guy now. They need Michael Kinney's the mastermind here. May 28th, 1985. So this is all in a very short window.
Right now, yeah.
Right now, May 28th, 1985, on a remote farm 7 miles west of Aberdeen.
Okay.
There's a farmer named Charles Boulais, 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 I guess. Boulais, maybe? I don't know. He's a farmer, either way. He's a farmer, and it rained on the 28th. It was a rainy day on the 28th of May, and Charles, the farmer, decides he wanted to go check his rain gauges out to see what he had out there. So as he does, he's going around. He's got a couple rain gauges set up around his farm. There's one out by an old ice house. It's like an old broken-down ice house from back in the day where they would store ice blocks. And he is checking the rain gauge, and he notices a weed growing out of the front of the shack near the fence where he kept his rain gauge. It was like a nasty weed that you got to get out by the roots, a big, thick one. So he's like, God damn it. So he crouches down. He's trying to, because you got to get right close to the ground with those things or else they'll break and you don't get the roots and they come right back.
They'll come right back, yep.
While he's pulling the weed, he spots a white tennis shoe.
Oh.
Like in the shack, in the ice house, the shack. And he says, who the fuck would leave a shoe in the hell? Nobody comes out here. Who's going to leave a shoe out there? And it looks pretty new. It's white, and I can see it's not like old or beat up or anything. He said, I thought, who would throw away a new white tennis shoe? Quote, so I looked in there, and I could see part of a pant leg just above that shoe. He said he stuck his head in the door and could see a dead body, which was partially covered by a door on top of him. And he said it was unusual because the ice house hadn't had a door in years. So now there's a door there. He stuck his head in the doorway, and somewhere somebody got a door and put it on top of this dead body. So as he looks closer, that's when he sees the body. He takes off, holy shit, goes and gets the cops. They show up. They have no idea how long he's been there, this body. But they do from the T-shirt. It's a tan sleeveless T-shirt that Michael's girlfriend had given him for his birthday. His jeans and his Nike shoes. They identify him preliminarily as Michael Kinney, and then later on they will do dental records and make sure, and it is Michael Kinney they find out here. Very dead. This guy who found him, the farmer, he doesn't even live there. He just checks his rain gauge every 2 weeks or so.
Holy shit.
Yeah. He said he rarely looks in the shack. There's no reason to go look in it. He said if he didn't see that weed, he wouldn't have bent down and looked in it this time.
Right.
He said, you can barely see it. They're saying as you drive on U.S. Highway 14, you can see this shack sort of barely visible behind some lilac bushes back there, like it's way off the road.
Obviously, it's a nice place to put a body if you're trying to get away for, I don't know, a time. But for Christ's sake, that's going to be
forever.
found.
Eventually. Yeah. The weird part is, and this is some small town shit, this Farmer Charles here, is the brother of Nancy Mitchell. Nancy Mitchell is a business partner of Sandra McNeil. It's the McNeil-Mitchell horse ranch.
She's the Mitchell.
Nancy Mitchell is the Mitchell, and her brother is the guy who found this body.
Interesting.
Super weird, right? So maybe they did it to keep his interest in the horse farm out when his mom dies. I don't know. We don't know. It's some serious. That's some plain shit right there.
How deep's this man's voice?
Sir? How deep is you got an Indian friend by any chance? So they check it out, the body, and it shows evidence of 3 .22 caliber bullet wounds and plenty of this head. The head has been beaten in with a square-edged instrument.
Jesus Christ.
They said the gunshots or the head bashing would have killed him either way.
Either way, he was dead.
Either way. But they said it's probably the gunshot because that
generally
cut off his something in his aorta, so that would have done it. But
in
they
the
said
chest.
There's 2 in the chest, 2 in the chest, 1 in the head, I think, and then his head was bashed in as well. They said he was decomposed, maggot-ridden, and appeared to have been dumped there, but there's no indication that he was killed there.
Oh.
So he wasn't taken out there and killed. He's not tied up in any way either. They just dumped him there. They said the doctor that performed the autopsy, like I said either of the things could have been fatal, but the gunshot wound to the aorta was probably the actual cause of death. The corpse, this is from the report, quote, the corpse was in a partially mummified state and showed no signs of having ever been tied up.
Shit.
Partially mummified. Samples of the stomach contents were taken and analyzed, which included an olive, degenerated vegetable matter, meat fibers, which were consistent with his last known meal, a pizza topped with pepperoni, sausage, mushrooms, and olives.
How about that?
Consumed May 8th at 6:30 p.m. That's when we knew. That's when we knew. He said that the doctor testified normally food passes through the stomach in 4 to 6 hours with variations, obviously, from person to person. But he said that Kinney must have been dead for 2 to 3 weeks, although the estimates are very rough. So they said to pass through it, he had to be killed within a certain amount of hours, 4 to 6 hours of 6:30 p.m. of that time. And he left his girlfriend's house at 11:30. So sometime between 11:30 and 12:30 seems to be the window of how long he was alive for. So, they said that a forensic anthropologist came in and estimated the body was in the ice house for 18 to 20 days, although there's a lot of dispute later on based on insect activity and shit. Sure. One thing that's crazy, there's a guy from Aberdeen here named Daniel Kavanaugh, and he said that he feels terrible because he was at the ice house 8 days earlier
and didn't see him
and didn't fucking find him. He said when he was there, the ice house door was in place and he noticed nothing out of the ordinary.
Huh.
So he said, all I noticed was that there's a door on the ice house, and years previous there hadn't been. So he just said, someone must have stuck a door on there.
Uh-huh.
That's all he thought. He said, I've looked at the building for 5 or 6 years. On this particular day, there was a door on it. That struck me as odd. But he said he didn't even think about it. He said that he knew the Kinney family and learned of Kinney's body being found, a couple weeks later. And he said, I felt bad. There was a possibility he could have been in there, tied up or whatever, and I didn't go open the door and look in.
Well, good news, man. That is not the case.
No, it's so weird, too. He's a Northwestern Bell supervisor for the phone company there.
Uh-huh.
He stopped at the ice house at the abandoned farm. He said he was returning from a business trip and wanted to stretch his legs and had been stopping at the same spot for 6 years to pick asparagus.
Ew.
And he said
asparagus?
Yeah, so he has nothing to do with this farm. He just fucking shows up. They said there was no odor or anything suspicious either. He was partially mummified, like he had stopped smelling even. He was beyond that. At this point, Todd Miller asks to go back to jail. He's not charged, but he's afraid now. He says he's afraid for his life now. Yeah. So now he says he wants to go back to jail to be put in protective custody. So he voluntarily goes back to jail, and then he's still on bail, so he can leave whenever he wants, and then a couple days later, he leaves again.
Okay.
I'm good now, I think. I'll be okay. Maybe jail isn't the right answer. So, yeah. Now, the reaction is they talked to all of Kinney's people, and Michael Kinney, they said that no one around him can find anything to suggest he was plotting his own kidnapping.
Right.
No behavior changes, no telltale signs of any kind, no odd plans. People that knew both of them, Todd and Michael, said they couldn't believe that either of them were involved in anything like this. It doesn't make any sense. They said they're both regarded as clean cut, and neither was thought of as a troublemaker. Just a couple of good guys. Nothing. Sandra McNeil said her son didn't need for money at all. He drove a nice car, had his own computer, video games. He's a spoiled kid. He's got plenty of money.
Right. Yeah.
Does great for himself. The sheriff said, quote, I guess if it was my son, I'd feel the same way. But investigators deal with facts, and the facts right now indicated that he at least was involved in the initial planning.
Yeah.
Those facts are based on Todd Miller's word.
Right. He said that. Yeah.
In his fifth story.
Right.
So what makes that more true than anything else? It doesn't make any sense. So there's no corroboration whatsoever for it. So Sandra McNeil says, the mom, she says she doesn't resent the investigators for suspecting her son, but she says, quote, I just hope they get who actually did it. So she's like, you can blame him, but once you look into it, find the right person.
Okay.
Some blame the cops for his death as well. That's going around, including Ms. Mewing here, the girlfriend.
Really?
She said she thinks the officers should have waited to make the arrest the night that they followed fucking Todd Miller, and maybe they would have found something. Maybe they would have known more. They said that, they jumped on him too quick. They shouldn't have got in there. They said Kinney might be alive if they had waited. So they said that the FBI says they believe the officers made the right decision. The decision, though, Agent Moore said, we didn't cause the kid's death, I don't believe. It's unfortunate that it happened.
Yeah.
That's terrific. So they're looking for another weapon. They don't have the gun. They don't have anything. They don't have the tire iron. They're thinking it looks like a tire iron, possibly, that he was bashed in the head with. So they're like, we need a tire iron. So Martin Miller, who is Todd's father, says he had taken a tire iron that was missing from his son's car in May 1985. Oh. He said, the tire iron you're looking for, I took it out of the car in May of 1985. That's probably why you didn't find it. And so Martin Miller said, it's the one I took out of Todd and Cindy's car, which is the blue Oldsmobile. That's Cindy's car. When I changed a tire last March or April, he said it was in his garage during May of 1985. Martin Miller also says that his family uses .22 caliber guns, but it's to shoot snapping turtles on the ranch.
My God,
what a nightmare! Fucking even the turtles are dangerous here. Isn't that cute? Oh, he took a chunk out of my leg. Fuck.
That is the scariest turtle on Earth.
They're nasty.
They are so fucking scary.
They're nasty, dude. They're really
ugly,
mean,
Jesus,
mean. They also found a live .22 cartridge in Todd's car when he was arrested. Martin Miller also said that that to buy shells in South Dakota, the purchaser must sign his name. He said to his knowledge, Todd had never purchased any shells. Okay. So he's like, I don't know if he had his own ammo or what. So everyone's wondering, was Michael Kinney involved in his own murder? Was this a thing where he said, fake kidnap me, get the money, and then the people who were in the plot with him, did they just say, fuck it, let's just kill him and keep all the money? It seems like a big stretch from, hey, we're going to rip off dude's mom with his help.
It's a whole lot, yeah.
It's a whole lot. So his family and friends say there's no way that he's involved. They said that, but he's still an agent. He's still a suspect. 12 FBI agents and 3 investigators from the sheriff's office, 2 crime labs, and a state agent are all working on the case at that point. And they said, could have been drugs. Who knows? They keep just saying that. We don't know what it is. But FBI agents said his investigation so far discounts drugs as a possible motive for Michael Kinney. They said that he's only known to smoke marijuana. He smokes that almost daily. Mm-hmm. He said, but there's no evidence that he's dealing any drugs, or nobody needs $200,000 to pay someone back just because you bought an eighth from them last week. That's
$200,000 of weed is a lot of fucking weed.
That's a shitload of weed.
Especially in 85. That'll last you a long fucking time.
Totally. Yeah, that's a lot. So they also said that shitweed, but it'll last you a while. They said it also, there doesn't seem to be any indication that Kinney would want to cheat his mother out of money. They seem to be close. So May 29th, 85, Miller here, they're talking to Miller again. They're back talking to him. And they said that it would certainly help our case if we knew if his alibi is substantiated, talking about Todd Miller here with this murder. So they're saying that he could have taken place in the they don't know if maybe Miller just got tied up into this because he was threatened. They had Miller take a lie detector test. Okay. They were inconclusive or he failed. They never passed one with flying colors or anything.
Yeah.
Calling all dog owners. Your furry friend deserves top-notch nourishment. And Ollie delivers the clean, fresh nutrition your dog needs in 5 flavors they'll absolutely flip over. Ollie is made in U.S. kitchens with ingredients carefully sourced from trusted growers and producers around the world, with absolutely no harmful fillers or preservatives. With protein-first recipes like fresh beef with sweet potatoes, fresh turkey with blueberries, or fresh lamb with cranberries, you might start thinking, dang, my dog eats better than I do. And that's probably true when it comes to Ollie. Give your pup a fresh start this new year by letting them taste test a personalized meal plan with Ollie. Head to ollie.com/Wondery. Tell them all about your dog and use code WONDERY to get 60% off your first box of meals when you subscribe today. Plus, they offer a clean bowl guarantee on the first box. So if you're not completely satisfied, you'll get your money back. That's OLLIE.com/Wondery and enter code WONDERY to get 60% off your first box. Start your dog's new year off right with Ollie. Start your dog's new year off right with Ollie.
Creating really great retail experiences is tough, especially with multiple stores, teams of staff, fulfillment centers, separate workflows. It's a lot. But with Shopify Point of Sale, you can do it all without complexity. And let's face it, acquiring new customers is expensive. With Shopify POS, you can keep shoppers coming back with personalized experiences and first-party data that give marketing teams a competitive edge. In fact, it's proven, based on a report from EY, businesses on Shopify POS see real results, like 22% better total cost of ownership and benefits, equivalent to an 8.9% uplift in sales on average relative to the market set surveyed. Want more? Check out at shopify.com/Wondery. All lowercase, and learn how to create the best retail experiences without complexity. Shopify.com/Wondery.
But they said that he isn't linked to any murder yet, and they said they haven't ruled it out, but he hasn't linked at this time.
Yeah.
So for physical evidence, they ended up, like I said, they think he was there 18 to 20 days before he was found. There's going to be people later who argue that he was just there for a week. They said that the guy who said he was there 18 to 20 days, that forensic anthropologist, never actually visited the shed, but he saw the body and based his conclusions upon photos, weather data, and other information. So I don't know if going to the shed is important for a forensic anthropologist or not.
Does it matter?
I don't want to sound stupid and say it does or it doesn't, because I don't know.
Does it matter how long he's been in the shed?
Yeah.
Because we know how long he's been dead. He's got a fucking olive in his stomach.
That's it. We know we got that. Seems like the more important part.
Yeah. Who gives a fuck when he was put there?
Who gives a shit? Exactly. It doesn't matter. So they said that, I don't know, and I don't know if that's important or not. Like I said, I don't want to sound stupid because I'm too stupid to know whether that's even a stupid question. I'm so stupid, I don't even know if that's a stupid question. So whether it's important to visit the shed or not, like I said, I have no idea. This guy also said that a screwdriver or a tire iron may have caused the injuries to the head. Might have been a large screwdriver as well.
With the handle of it?
I guess, or maybe it's not stabbing.
Unless it's stabbing, because a tire iron sometimes has that big screwdriver.
Yeah, because it's got that kind of point in his head, like where it's crushed in a square.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So another person here, an FBI body fluids specialist, which sounds like a gross T-shirt that a douchebag would wear in a bar. I'm an FBI body fluids specialist right here.
It's something that a frat boy wears to a fucking Halloween party.
Totally, yeah, with like sunglasses and like a little earpiece in his ear.
And some fucking stains on the shirt.
Yeah, see, this is my stain shirt. This guy's name is Robert Hall, and he said that he tested blood samples from Kinney's body, and the first set of tests were consistent with only type AB blood, adding that he couldn't get results from the second test because the blood was in poor condition. So they said only 4% of people at that time have type AB blood.
Oh.
So that's why they think they can. There's no DNA testing, but they can narrow it very much down. If there's AB blood somewhere, only 4% of people have that. So it's a lot. It's a lot less. This guy said the blood from the specimens on the liner of Miller's wife's car, the Oldsmobile that he picked the ransom money up in, was type AB blood. He said there's also no way to determine how long the blood has been inside the trunk, and that there's no hospital or medical records to cross-check with other stuff. So another woman here, Judith Dieter, she said that she saw Miller, Todd Miller, on May 11th, 1985, when he was at a convenience store in Aberdeen. She said she thought it was unusual that he was washing his car because it was raining. That is unusual. Yeah. It's very unusual.
Good call, dear.
To wash your car in the rain. And if you do hear advice, murderers, if you do murder someone, yes, you should wash whatever forensic evidence out of your car. Don't do it in the rain. That looks suspicious. That looks
attention.
More suspicious than having blood on it, really. It's really...
If you're washing the outside of your car in the rain, just drive it, man.
Yeah, that's the same thing.
It'll get it off.
It'll get it all off. You'll never get it dry, I'll tell you that much.
No.
So she said that, she thought that was odd. Miller's mother-in-law, Cindy's mom here, Sandra J. Oliver. Wow, both guys' names, mother's names are Sandra. Or that mother-in-law here anyway. She said that a blue Oldsmobile that she once owned, she gave to her daughter Cindy, who's Miller's wife, so they're connecting that he definitely has that car. Yeah. The FBI guy said he removed Sandra Oliver, Miller's mother-in-law, Todd's mother-in-law, said she removed a factory-installed carpet from the trunk of the car on May 23rd, 1985.
What?
After her daughter complained of a musty smell. I don't think you know what is this, Goodfellas? I hit a skunk, Karen, all right? It's a fucking corpse. Does no one know what rotting flesh smells like, for fuck's sake?
You can't identify must and fucking decomp?
And corpse? Those are very different.
Must and decomp smell entirely different.
Totally different. Little musty. Wow, that's an understatement. So she said, though, that she didn't see any blood on the liner, and she said she sprinkled baking soda on it to get rid of the odor.
Yeah.
Which they did find. They found the way they described it, they found in the trunk, they had a ripped out liner and some strange white powder. So it turns out that's baking soda from his mother-in-law, not cocaine.
That is a mom solution to everything.
They thought it was Coke. They thought this all makes sense now. There's Coke all over this trunk. Oh no, that's Arm & Hammer from fucking Cindy's mom. Never mind. That's a mom solution. She was out of Febreze, so she did this.
Febreze hasn't been invented yet, and she's out of dryer sheets.
That's it. She's all out. So also there's bullets here. Bullet fragments from Kinney's body were the same type as a bullet found in Miller's car when he was arrested on May 14th near Starbuck, Minnesota. They identified the bullets as copper-coated .22 caliber long rifle bullets. The fragments resembled bullets manufactured by Winchester Western. He said that a live round in the car was a Winchester Western. So they examined also 4 guns to see if they could be linked to the bullet fragments in the body. 3 of the guns, all belonging to Miller, were ruled out, but the bullets could have been fired by a pistol belonging to Kinney and that he would have had with him at the time. Another person here, the Brown County Chief Deputy, Glenn Imbiri, he said that he spotted a check written on Kinney's account, Michael's account, that looked like a forgery. Okay. Check number 239 was written to an Aberdeen convenience store for $25. It was dated May 6th, 2 days before Kinney disappeared. Oh. But store owner Rick Beigler testified that it must have been written on May 10th after Kinney's disappearance. He said it was deposited in the bank on May 11th, and he always deposits all checks the next day.
Okay, so somebody predated it?
Somebody predated it, yeah. So whoever did that was thinking they predated it, so it would look like that. So they said that the check 239 differs from other checks written by Kinney. The name Michael is spelled wrong. That's a hint. By a guy whose middle name is fucking Michael. It's his middle fucking name. It's literally.
Yeah, I never used that one. Is it AE or is it EA? Is it
Fuck,
CH?
EA or AE. It sounds
CK?
like Mike Ale, I guess, but it could be Mike Eel, I suppose. Eal, I don't know. Fuck, God damn it.
Sound it out, Michael. Sounds like there should be an OLE at the end.
Shit, God damn it.
Did he mix up
my birth certificate?
Did he mix up the A and the E? Is that what happened?
I don't know. They don't say that. It was just spelled differently.
Be what it is. Yeah.
And the date is written out in words instead of just numbers, as Kinney has done on all of his other checks.
This guy doesn't know how checks are written?
So, no, this guy wrote May, whatever, rather than just 5-. So there you go. Cindy Miller, Todd's wife, said that she noticed no blood or spots on her husband's clothes when she did the laundry. Law enforcement officers picked up Miller's clothes on June 18th.
Oh, my.
A month something later, the ones that he was was wearing, but they'd been washed by then and worn and washed again.
So many times, yeah.
Jesus. Cindy Miller also said that she and her husband did not go to a car wash on May 11th, even though the car wash lady said, I remember that guy washing that car standing in the fucking rain. It's not the guy washing the car in the rain stands out, because I stared at him going, what the fuck is this dipshit doing washing this goddamn car in the rain?
Sit there stewing about it. Is that a blue Oldsmobile? Why would he do that? It's so fucking bizarre. What a dick.
What a dick. So June 5th, 1985, though, the investigators are convinced that Michael Kinney helped plot a kidnapping that backfired and ended in his murder. They do. They think that it must be a bizarre turn of events here. So they're like, are they going to have murder charges? Well, there's a grand jury investigation into Michael's death, and they said there's not enough evidence yet to charge anyone with murder, and they're looking into it. There's court documents. They searched the house, the surrounding areas, the vehicles of Miller and his family. They have clothing, writing supplies, tools, and 2 .22 caliber guns that were all seized and could possibly have some evidentiary value. Physical evidence, too. Doug Lake, who's a DCI agent, he said that 3 searches of Miller's home and family vehicles were done. And on June 18th, they searched the trunk of the car owned by Cindy, and there was factory-installed carpeting missing, as was a lug wrench that's usually in there, and a strange white powder substance spread around the trunk, which we found out is baking soda later. Yeah. The second search, done on July 3rd, they took hair and blood samples from Miller, and they noticed that what he thought to be blood inside the car trunk at that point. Then they noticed a blood spot. They seized the car, sealed it up, and took it to the county impound shed so lab specialists could remove the blood. On July 15th, the State Forensic Laboratory in Pierre did chemical tests to determine whether the substance was blood. Additional samples were gathered on July 29th, and the trunk was vacuumed to preserve fibers and other evidence. So Miller obviously was arrested before that. They found the gloves. They found the live .22 caliber ammo that matches the ammo in Michael. They searched his car, all of that. They said that it was light enough. That's what they said. Basically, the first time they looked through the car, they said it was light enough that if we had done a thorough job, we would have seen it. So we should have seen the blood the first time. They were a little upset about that. They said the June 18th search was not thorough because he was concentrating on items in the car trunk rather than on what was missing, the tire iron and the carpet. So that's pretty stupid. The statement said the person who killed Kenny would have had Kinney's hair and blood on his clothing and footwear. The agents used the special vacuum. They sample up everything. They got everything done. They said that the fibers on Kinney's clothing, Michael Kinney, the dead man, there were several rayon fibers taken from his clothing that matched the type of fiber in the trunk lining. Right. That particular type of rayon fiber was used in General Motors cars from 1971 through 1976. This is a 75 Oldsmobile. That's on Miller. That's on Kinney's clothes.
That nails it. But that's also a lot of fucking cars.
That's also about probably 500,000 cars. You just brought more than that, maybe, literally, that are on the road at that time.
Right.
Now, I don't know if anybody else is a suspect in this case that's driving one of those cars, though. They said that the one investigator said, my opinion is that there would be a very strong association existing between the victim and the debris of the vacuumings from that car. In my opinion, the chance or probability the victim was not in the trunk of the car is extremely small.
Yeah.
That's bad. That doesn't look good there for Todd here. They said that his mother, Todd's mother, Carolyn, told an agent that her son was not home when she got home at 10:30 p.m. on May 8th, 1985. They said that Mrs. Miller told him, the investigator, that she got out of bed, looked out the window, and saw the Oldsmobile that her son and his wife drove parked in the driveway at about 11:30 p.m. So, yeah, there's that. So he wasn't home for a window. They also, she said that she saw Todd walking down the hallway at their home at about 11:30 that night. None of these things she mentioned in her first interview in June. So by July, she suddenly had an alibi for him that she didn't have a month before.
Okay.
So that's interesting.
Alibi, though? Because she said, well, yeah, I guess she's saying
if he
he's
left
home at the time that he was
exactly
missing. Right.
Yeah, because he's still at his girlfriend's from 11:30. So that really shuts that window pretty fast there. They said that they searched Miller's closet and, like I said, the signs of blood and all that kind of shit. Another, Dr. Thomas Henry, a forensic pathologist, said that he examined and tested 2 vials of stomach content, and he found the olives and all that kind of shit. And Barry Walther, he, in his statement, says that Kinney ate half a pizza at his house between 6:30 and 7 p.m. on May 8th. And they said the largest piece of olive was 15 times larger than it needs to be before it'll pass into the intestine. So it was getting broken down still. Yeah. So he definitely was in that window. So at this point, they decide to charge Todd Miller with murder. Mm-hmm. They're like, let's go ahead and charge him with murder. That trunk shit, the hair and fibers in the trunk are a lot, basically. They said the blood was too badly deteriorated for analysis and to be absolutely conclusive. So the blood that they found in the trunk. They did all of this. Other evidence demonstrates that Miller's handwriting matched that on the forged check, on the bank account, and all that kind of thing. So, by the way, too, an eyewitness placed Miller at the convenience store where the check was passed, and Kinney's checkbook was never found. It wasn't on him. It wasn't in his room. So they go to trial. Right away, the judge denies defense motions to find Miller innocent right away. They said, just let's dismiss the charges. And they said no. The judge also refused to allow as evidence blood scrapings taken from the trunk of the car because he said they were possibly misleading and there was a lack of foundation because they couldn't do conclusive testing. Also, the photographs taken of the blood inside the trunk lid were not admissible as well. So they're going to ignore that. The prosecution says the very simple motive was money. This guy had money. Their family had money. He wanted to extort the family, and then you have to actually kill this guy because what else are you going to do? Now, the defense theory, their whole thing is, listen, the prosecution's saying that he died 18 to 20 days before his body was found. The defense, though, they're going to try to prove that Michael Kinney died only about a week before the body was found. And when he was killed, Miller was already in jail, so couldn't happen.
That's a balls fucking. I guess you could say all he's been eating is pepperoni and sausage and olive pizza.
Let's say that's his pie of choice.
Yeah.
So that's what he gets on it. But I mean, yeah. Then the defense experts also say that they think that Kinney wasn't even killed in the state of South Dakota. They think that Kinney was killed in a southern state, then driven back and dumped. Because the type of maggots in and around the body were from a type of blowfly found farther south at that time of year. That's what the defense experts say. Although this testimony, it comes out, was premised on studies that haven't been updated since 1949. So insect patterns change in 35 or so years.
Yeah.
Yeah, if it's a degree warmer up there, they'll scoot a little bit. That's how it works. So that was a dumb one. So the defense lawyer told the jurors that Kinney masterminded the extortion scheme of his own mother, and that Todd Miller had no idea that his family is having such financial problems, because we find out that Todd Miller's family is having huge financial problems. Like his dad could lose his ranch very soon here.
Fuck.
They said that his defense attorneys, though, say that Miller didn't know about that the land bank had set a May 13th deadline for his father to bring his loan up to date. And they didn't know any of that. They said instead, my guy didn't know that. Kinney just needed money because he's involved in drugs. That's the real thing here. He said, quote, this is the defense attorney, Mike was in some kind of trouble, either because he wasn't satisfied with life or he had a habit Aberdeen couldn't take care of. Jesus Christ. So he needed $200,000.
Right.
He said, the defense attorney says Todd Miller refused to take part in the scheme, but later did take part in it because he was so scared for his wife and baby, as any new father would be. And he said that Kinney and Miller had been friends since the 4th grade, but they went their separate ways in high school when Todd Miller stayed on the straight and narrow and Kinney turned to drugs. Okay. Jesus, man. He said, then his lawyer says, quote, I think when you're done, you'll be willing to bet your life that Todd Miller is not guilty. Todd is relying on it.
Yeah, he is.
There you go. So they also have the hotel clerk. She says, this is a defense witness, she says 2 young men came into her Super 8 motel the night of May 13th, 1985, and went up the stairs to a room. She said one of them came down later and asked for $2 and change. In an interview with the FBI, this clerk said she identified Kinney from a photo as the man who asked for the change. Michael Kinney, the dead guy here. She said she remembered Kinney because the first time she saw him, he reminded her of someone else, and she had to look twice. So, in cross-examination, though, the clerk said that she picked the wrong photo when asked during the investigation to identify another man who had registered the same night. So, she can't remember shit from there, basically, is what they'd figured out.
She's looking at a man and thinking she recognizes him as somebody else, and she's obviously wrong.
Yes, an eyewitness ID of strangers is worth nothing. It's worth spit. Yeah. It's you think you recognize strangers because your brain puts pictures in your head, but we're human beings. Our brains don't work like that. You don't recognize strangers. You just don't.
I want to see a picture of Michael and a picture of the person she mistook him for to see if they're anywhere near close.
How close they are. I'd love to see that. The fucked up part is Miller and Michael, their pictures. You could, if I said this is Miller, this is Michael, mixed them up and then showed them to you the other way, you wouldn't notice. They look so similar, just like kind of clean cut Midwestern young guys
from 85.
Totally. That ended up there with. She didn't remember all of that, which I think is funny. An ex-girlfriend. This is another defense witness. This is an ex-girlfriend of Michael Kinney. She dated him in the summer of 84, so right after he graduated high school. They talked of marrying even. High school love. She said that Michael was dissatisfied with his job and his relationship with his mother and talked of going to Canada. Okay. Right after you graduate high school that summer, no kid ever talks about, I should just go to I just want to go to like Nepal for 6 months. You know what I mean?
Find me in Costa Rica.
Yeah, that's like, kids say that after you have this weird surge of freedom. Like, I could just go anywhere, right? I could just do whatever I want. Because I'm an adult now and I have no school. I could just do anything, so I think I will, and then you don't.
Or some of those guys do that, and that's all they ever end up doing is just being nomads wandering the planet.
No shit.
Weirdos.
So she said he was super dissatisfied and talked of going to Canada. That's what he talked about, running away to Canada. Yeah. She said, I was wondering how we'd get the money to go. She inserted herself in there, how we'd get the money to go. Did he ask you, sweetheart?
I don't think he said we can go. I think he said I could go.
Yeah, I don't think he said me and you, Jody, are running away. I think he said I could leave. He said his grandparents left him money in a trust. And she said that she also said that Kinney could sign his mother's name to get access to the money. He was on his mother's account. He could take money in and out whenever he wanted to. Wow. So there is no lack of money in this guy's life. He has money in a million different places. So she said that she asked him if he was in trouble, and he said no. Just getting restless. That's all, as kids do. So Michael Kinney's mom, Sandra, she testified that her son had access to her many bank accounts and had one of his own. At the time of his disappearance, he had about $2,700 in his personal checking account and however much more he needed from her bank accounts, and it was fine. She said her son had access to her accounts because he was named executor of her estate in her will already. Yeah. So he's already got all that shit. So they said that the defense, though, says, no, he was in serious trouble and he's trying to get $200,000 from his mom. Okay. So they bring Sandra McNeil also said that her and her son had a good relationship. She said her son would have told her if he was in any kind of trouble, which probably not, but that's fine. When asked about her reaction to the ransom note, she said, I was terrified. I just wanted Mike back. Well, no shit.
Yeah.
So Kelly Mewing, Michael Kinney's girlfriend, she testified that Michael was not in any kind of trouble, nor did he need any kind of money. He mentioned nothing. He wasn't under any pressure or stress. She said that Michael had a good relationship with his mother, and if he needed money, he would have just asked his mother for it, and she would have given it to him. So that would have solved the problem. He didn't need to extort anything. She said Michael did smoke marijuana on an almost daily basis, but wasn't into the drug scene. She said one time or a couple of times he bought an ounce of marijuana, and then he would take a quarter and sell a quarter to each, like 3 of his friends, and for no profit though. Yeah, just right. They'd just split an ounce, so they got a cheaper price together. That's everybody does that. But she said he didn't deal drugs or ever buy any larger quantities than an ounce that she knew of.
He got five on it. That's all.
That's all it is. She said that he tried speed, but he didn't get into it. That was back in high school when at like some party shit. But she said the year and a half before his death, the only kind of speed stuff he'd ever use was over-the-counter caffeine pills if he had to stay up for a test or something for school. So that was that. So one of the defense witnesses said that she saw Kinney. They found a young lady, Joelle Lean, who's 19. She says she saw Kinney in 1984, late 1984. So
November or so?
6 months later at a downtown bar, and that he told her he was getting into big business and would be making a lot of money. So not only is he hanging out in Aberdeen, but he's also just touting future plans to people. Mm-hmm. She said the first thing this was in late 84, so this is before he was
6 months before.
Yeah. She said the first thing that came to my mind was that he was stealing things or something, and then he told me that he wasn't. I asked him if it was drugs or anything, and he told me that I was too innocent to know. So he also could have been fucking around at a bar. By the way, I love how all these people are 19 and they're hanging out at downtown bars, by the way.
If I told you I'd have to kill you, that's a common thing.
Yeah, and he's trying to sound cool for a 19-year-old chick that he probably might be trying to bang. Who knows?
Hey, who knows? Maybe you get your pants off.
That's all. He was in between relationships at that point. Another defense witness is Todd's sister, Michelle. She said that on May 8th, the night that Kinney disappeared, she called her parents home to make sure everyone was home. Why do you call it night? Just want to make sure everybody's in, all right? Mom, Dad, you guys home? Okay.
We were asleep, you fucking dick.
Thanks a lot. She said that based on her mother's answer, she was satisfied everyone was home, including Todd, which means that she called after 11:30 p.m., which doesn't sound...
a terrible time to call a house.
It's a terrible time to call a house phone. Just a ring through the whole fucking house.
Everybody up.
One in every room. Jesus Christ. And also, then the cross-examination, the attorney general comes out and talks to the sister and says, you made no reference to that phone call during your grand jury testimony. You didn't say that. When you were asked directly, you didn't say that. Now you've made a phone call? And she was like, didn't have much of an answer there. They also had the fiber experts talking about, same fibers from the trunk were on the body. They also have Paula, that's Miller's little sister. She said she was with Miller when they were arrested, obviously. She said her brother told her during the trip they were going to Alexandria to sell a horse. Mm-hmm. Paula said her brother said nothing during the trip about being in trouble or being threatened or anything like that. So Todd's family, now they find out, and there's a big thing about Todd's family, and his father Martin was in severe financial difficulty. He had written checks totaling $23,420.10, which were returned for insufficient funds in the first half of 1985. Todd was aware of his father's financial troubles and had discussed horse sales with his father, and he told his father that they would have money by May 14th, 1985, and not to worry.
Why would he know that?
Exactly. So they said that Miller's father was obviously, he was trying to help his father, and maybe this was the deal. They said that his father was $8,327 behind on his payments to the Federal Land Bank, and bank officials were threatening to accelerate the $58,748 loan. Miller told family and friends he was planning to sell a horse so he could explain coming into the money, is what he told people. Martin Miller said he and his son were close, but Todd was not a partner in the family horse business and had no knowledge about money owed. Then the prosecution on cross-examination reads him back his own grand jury testimony where he said that his son was well aware of his financial problems. They said, according to the transcript, when asked that, he said, quote, "Yes, we very seldom hid anything from each other." So that's a lot different.
Also, I probably wander around the house swearing about the fucking goddamn banks.
Yeah. What's wrong, Dad? Oh, I don't know. All of our land's about to be taken from us. Probably would come up at some point.
The goddamn bank wants its money.
So at that point, they said, well, how did Todd feel about this, since we know that he knew about it now? How did Todd feel about it? And Martin said, I'm sure it did bother him, but not enough to go out and do what you guys are accusing him of. Mm-hmm. So, yeah, I lied, but whatever. So it's tough, this whole thing. I mean, when you put the guy's dad on and got to grill him about his finances, it's not his dad's fucking fault, unless his dad said, yeah, go kidnap a guy and kill him and get money.
It probably feels pretty fucking embarrassing for that old man to have to tell everybody about
how
far behind in his bills are.
Proud old rancher.
Yeah.
Probably fucking pissed about that shit. So they bring up all this stuff. The defense is trying to raise all of these different things here. They also Martin had discussed selling horses with his son. He said Todd had the authority to sell horses because a bottom price had been established on each horse. Don't take less than this. Right. So he said he could sell them based on that, but his son had never sold any horses. So he said that Martin Miller said his son told him a week or two before May 14th that he planned to sell a horse to his boxing coach in Minnesota. The horse had a bottom price of $25,000, but Todd never said how much he was going to get for the horse. There you go. So also, they had come on March 1st, 1985. The county sheriffs had come to the Miller home to seize property on a $1,470 execution from Midwest Credit. So they're coming to seize shit. They picked up a microwave oven and a gas grill and asked Todd if there was any other valuable property, and Todd had said he had some guns that could be taken. Okay, so yeah, there was the tire iron that they ended up finding later, like I said. Evidence stuff, the clothes as well. This is crazy. The clothes that Mark Kinney had been wearing when he disappeared and when he was found dead. Yeah. Shirt, tennis shoes, they were left on the roof of a lab complex in Rapid City for a month.
What?
A month after the autopsy.
On the roof?
On the roof, they said. On the fucking roof. The doctor said he put the clothes on the roof to dry. To put them in the sun to dry, went down and forgot about them for a month.
They got wet and dry again several times.
Wet, dry, wind, who knows, bird shit. Completely lost for any forensic activity, basically. It's asshole. So that's not terrific. And in closing here, the prosecution said, quote, just as the blood of Michael Kinney is in the trunk of that car, it's on the defendant's hands. It's in his car. It might as well be on his hands today. Okay. So there you go. The defense closing is a little bit different. They say that the state's explanation of a motive is ridiculous and they haven't proven their case. They said that, look at this. We don't even know if the crime was actually committed in Brown County. If it wasn't, it doesn't even matter if you think my client murdered him. If you find that it didn't happen in Brown County, you have to find him not guilty because that's part of the fucking thing. He has to have done it here.
Jurisdiction here, right.
So they said, has that been proven to you beyond a reasonable doubt? Are you firmly convinced that Michael Kinney was killed in Brown County, South Dakota? You know you're in trouble when you're saying, rather than, are you convinced that this guy killed this guy? You're going, are you convinced that he was even killed in this county? We don't know, right? Let's just say. It's not good.
Yeah. For me, my biggest hole is he picked up the money under duress, thinking that he was in danger, put it in the trunk of his car, and he's so afraid of these people, he took his cut out of that suitcase and put it in his wallet without counting all, you know what I mean? Not knowing that it's not all there. When he shows up to the very bad man who wants to behead his toddler.
Oh, my God.
And that thing is 10,000 and some change short.
Oh.
That baby's going away.
He's going to be playing skee ball at that kid's head. Come on,
That's the
50.
biggest hole for me.
That's a good fucking point. Jesus Christ. So then they said, this is the defense, you have to be convinced that the suit of clothes the state is trying to put on Todd fits because you don't get a refund. And Todd will be stuck with the suit of clothes you put on him for the rest of his life.
Is this guy a tailor locally and is trying to sell this in our spring sale?
I put myself through college working at Men's Warehouse. It's just, don't worry about it, okay?
That's the fucking metaphors I have.
Yeah, that's what I have. It's a lot of suit stuff. I'm going to get into lapels if we do anything more. Trust me.
Wait till
Let's
I
just
talk
stop
about
here.
how your heels stick to those thin socks.
So he finished his argument. He threw his pad, his yellow lined legal pad down on the defense table, and he walked around and he said that this is fucking amazing. He rests his hands on Miller's shoulders. Like, this is my guy. And he looks at the jurors, long pause, and he said, it's my turn to turn him over to you.
Okay. What is this?
Shepherd this young boy like he's 12.
Like you just walked him down the aisle.
Yeah, I turn him over to you.
Him away.
I do. He pushes him toward the jury. This trial lasted over almost a month.
Yeah.
Over 3.5 weeks, approximately 2,800 pages of trial transcript, 193 trial exhibits, numerous transcripts of motion hearings, 220 pages of briefings, and 3 supplemental briefs. And it was more than 4 weeks long, the trial.
Wow.
So the prosecutor said, anytime I have to get a haircut between the start and finish, it's a long trial.
Yeah.
Yeah, so anytime I have to wear the same hair twice, or the same tie twice, it's a long trial. Yeah,
I got it real shaggy in this trial and had to
That's
get it trimmed
a lot.
up.
So here comes a deliberation. 9 women, 3 men on the jury.
Yeah.
They're, by the way, sequestered at a Sheraton Inn in Aberdeen. When they are dumped in at the end of the night, it is 1 to a room with no TV or phone allowed.
Yeah.
This is 1985.
Yeah.
No outside, no newspaper, no nothing. They put you in a room in the Sheraton, and then you sit in a room.
Or you go to sleep.
Or you go. I'm sure they have like approved reading materials they can give you, like books. I'm sure.
Reader's Digest.
Yeah, it doesn't. It doesn't matter if you read like the Tales of Wyatt Earp or some shit. That's not going to matter in this case. But who knows? So they deliberated throughout the afternoon. They took a dinner break. They deliberated some more. That goes into the next day. The next day, 4:15, they send a note to the judge.
Oh, God.
They asked for markers of various colors, masking tape, and an easel and paper.
We're playing Pictionary.
Guys, we're all so bored from this hotel room. We've whipped up our own Pictionary, and we broke it down into teams. And, me and my guy, we think we can win. So, it might be another night. You know what I mean?
6 teams of 6. We could run 6 teams of 2. We could run a whole fucking a tournament through here.
Hey, when you're done getting that shit, grab a twister mat, too, if you would. Thank you. We want to get to know each other a little better. An easel, masking tape, markers of various colors. Wow. Awesome. They also wanted a dictionary, a tape recorder, a tape recorder, and tape number 94, which is the tape conversation between Todd Miller and Kinney's mother with the ransom demand here. Right. So they did all that. They directed the jurors be given all the items except for the tape recorder, the tape, and the dictionary. I don't know why they're not allowed to have a dictionary. They must not know what we're talking about.
I need them to not know words.
Keep them in the dark. Wow. The jurors do have a written transcript of the conversation. They go into Friday, 3rd day of deliberations on that. Deliberations go on through that day. The next day they come in. Jesus Christ. It's insane. They deliberate, they go into Saturday. Jurors ask for a clarification on a point of law. They ask whether a person who's being carried away as during a kidnapping had to be alive for it to be a kidnapping. Oh. If you're carrying away a corpse, is that kidnapping? Or is that just moving a body? You know what I mean? Yeah. Corpse, what is that? They passed this note to the bailiffs who delivered it to the judge, and the judge said, when it talks about carrying away or detaining a person, does that person have to be alive or can that person be deceased? Please clarify for us. And the judge said, the term person, as used in Instruction 19, means a person who is alive. Mm. So a body would be, they would put it there in the law. So the jurors here, they retired Sunday night without reaching a verdict. So they're still going. They deliberated from 9:30 a.m. to 6:30 p.m. on Sunday, stopping only for lunch. It's fucking insane. Then in a handwritten note, the jury asked, can a person be guilty of murder if a person is killed during the perpetration or attempted perpetration of a kidnapping if the person aided, abetted, or advised in the planning of the committing of the kidnapping only? In other words, the person did not aid, abet, or advise in the planning or committing of a murder. So let's say Todd was just involved in the kidnapping and the extortion plot, and then everything else was not him. Is it still like you're in a convenience store and somebody shoots the clerk and we're all guilty? Like how does that work?
Also, these beds here are much more comfortable than my house bed, so take your time.
Also, I hate my spouse and my kids, so I'm going to... By the way, do you have Simon? Because we'd really like to... I know that's not a current event. So we
really enjoy that one. And Battleship is really popular amongst jurors 3, 4, and 8.
They won't let us play Life because there's cars. You can put people in the trunk of your car. It's not. They won't let us do that. They said it's too close.
Is a light bright out of the question?
Jesus fucking Christ. So David Kinney, who's home from the military, who is Michael's brother, they're waiting for the deliberations. He said there's nothing that takes a person's mind off something like this because we've been going through this for over a year. He said it's crazy. He said I work outside to keep myself busy, and my mom's always working outside. They're just trying to do that. He's stationed at Ellsworth Air Force Base. Todd Miller's father tells the press, my son didn't do it. He said, I don't know what the verdict will be, but he said, we know our son is innocent, but what the jury will come up with, we can't know that. It's a lot of stress just waiting. It gets everybody after a while. Okay? 6 days of deliberations.
Holy shit.
No TV, no phone. Jurors passed the bailiff a note at 5:20 p.m., which is weird. The note saying they have reached their verdict.
Oh, okay.
Not another question. Which is unexpected because just before that, the jurors had spoken with bailiffs about what pizza they were going to have delivered for their evening meal.
Hilarious.
And then they skipped the pizza, decided they have a verdict. Let's just eat at home tonight. Fuck it.
Having a pizza seems a little disrespectful.
I'd like mushrooms, olives, pepperoni, and sausage, please, in honor of our...
Maybe some green pepper. Just a real special.
A real special one. You know what I mean. So the jury comes back in, and they find Todd Miller... What do you think's going to happen here, Jimmie?
Oh, God, Jesus. I'm so nervous. I need him guilty.
It's kidnapping, possession of ransom money, forgery, first-degree murder. It's all on the table.
There's too much. And they had too many questions. They took too long. Their Pictionary tournament was a fucking real doozy. I think he's not guilty, James. I think he's only going to jail for 10 years.
Now, let's see here. They find him guilty of... kidnapping, possession of ransom money, forgery, and first-degree murder.
Wow, they got him.
They got him, yeah. Right away, the defense counsel says they'll appeal. He says there's no doubt in my mind the jury made a mistake. No doubt at all. They know it. The Brown County Sheriff said Miller was being watched closely in the jail to prevent him from hanging himself. Yeah, because that's a problem they have there. Yeah. He said, this is quite a shock to the family. He's facing quite a sentence. We have no information that he's suicidal. We do this for about 48 hours with all people who receive a sentence to the South Dakota Penitentiary. He says that, the kid can't be happy about the verdict. He said, you can't be overjoyed about sending a 21-year-old kid to prison for life. Yeah. Well, if he did what they said he did, he's a fucking monster.
It's pretty easy, yeah.
That's very calculated and dangerous if that person did that. So the Jack Kinney, Michael's father and a current private investigator at that time, said that parts of the trial were very upsetting. He said Mike was pretty much a normal, average boy who's really been slandered by the way the defense in this case has talked about him. Some of the things they said about him were not true. They had to make it sound like he was like a
drug
underworld kingpin or something. He's just a regular dude who smokes weed on a horse ranch.
Right.
So
blows turkeys away.
Yeah. His friend Barry said, I'm happy about the guilty verdicts, but, quote, I think there could have been more justice done. I thought he was guilty of every charge. But the problem was the things that he wasn't, because he was charged with 9 things and found guilty of 4. Mm-hmm. But the other things were alternatives to the things they found them guilty of. So you can't find him guilty of all 9. Right. It's impossible. So Miller, sentencing comes around.
Oh,
Do you have anything to say for yourself? He says,
what does he say?
Nope, I'm good.
That ain't it.
That's not the one. That ain't the one.
Want to try it 4 more times?
How about that? So his lawyer, though, says this, okay? His lawyer says, quote, law enforcement and a number of people in this community call Todd a murderer. They're also called a jury, a number of people, like 12 of them, who all sat in that fucking box.
Who heard all the evidence.
Who heard all the evidence and whose job it is to judge.
Right.
Some of the people in this number, I can tell you at least 12. I know that much.
And probably Kenny's parents and family as well. There's a few, yeah.
Add that in, the prosecutor, a lot. I believe the jury in this case decided their convictions based on aiding and abetting in a murder. I believe there's a distinction to be made there, Your Honor, and not until the principal confesses will we humans know the ultimate truth. Our maker and redeemer will be the ultimate judge. Well, you're taking it well out of the hands of the Court of Appeals, I think.
We found one of the Lutherans, James.
I think so. Hardcore. Todd knows that. Todd accepts that. Todd has accepted his present fate on a human level. Todd has hope in his future. He would like to pass that hope on to those concerned.
Uh-huh.
Okay, the judge, on the other hand, has less hope for him. Mm-hmm. The judge says, you, sir, may fuck off. Life in prison for first-degree murder.
Shit. Yeah.
He also imposes... for the term for kidnapping, life again, 2 lives now, double life term, 15 years for possession of ransom money and 5 years for forgery, and those are going to be running consecutively as well. Shit. So 2 life sentences plus 20 is what he just got. He's in a lot of deep shit. The state did not seek the death penalty on this one. Yeah. And Sandra McNeil, Kinney's mom, said, nothing's going to bring Mike back. I guess I'm satisfied. Yeah, what are you going to do? Who cares at that point? When you have a family member murdered, it's one of the things you go is like, well, I don't care what they do with this guy at this point. It's not going to help me any. So appeal here. They appeal this, and they win on the forgery charge somehow, that they couldn't prove it was him that forged it because the witnesses weren't good enough. So they lose the murder appeal, though, case. That doesn't work. He doesn't get out on that. Yeah. 1993, though, his lawyer is trying to get him a new trial. And he actually is getting an appeal here and gets his murder charge thrown out.
Okay.
So he gets it thrown out. They're going to give him a retrial.
Okay.
It's based on very ticky-tack legal shit, so I'm not going to get into it at this point because we don't have the time. Because we have something. There's a huge, crazy thing coming up here. Don't worry. This doesn't stay unresolved. Trust me. So they're going to let him stay. They're going to keep him in jail, though. He was trying to get out of jail on bail during this time, and they said, no, you're back in there. So 94, they have a retrial, pretty much the same evidence as the first time, and same fucking result. Still guilty, still life in prison. Fuck off, asshole. So there's that. Now, 1999 comes around. Todd Miller and another idiot in jail who is serving, what is he serving? I believe a life sentence. Another moron. They hatch a plot to kidnap the governor's family members.
What the fuck?
And ask for a ransom that would include pardons, $500 each, and 2 new driver's licenses.
That ought to do it.
That should do it.
Why don't you put in driver's licenses in there?
We really want to be legit, guys. Seriously. And like a gift certificate to IKEA wouldn't kill you either. Like, get us back on our feet. I don't even have a futon, bro. Help me.
$500.
$500. If you're going to do that, go for broke.
Yeah, go for more. Jesus.
The inmates were somehow able to route $1,500 in prison, I don't know where, to a man outside the prison whom they hoped would arrange the kidnapping and swap the hostages for the ransom. He was to be paid $50,000 by the inmates upon the release, but they said, quote, they probably would have killed him rather than pay.
All right.
They're not going to pay him $50,000. They're only getting $500 each. So There you go. Now, a third party tipped off the authorities to this conspiracy, then worked with them as an informant.
I'm shocked that the guy wasn't a police officer.
No shit. So it's crazy. So they called, these investigators were called in to do this. And one of the investigators said, you don't say no to the governor. If he wants you to look into something, you're on it now. So they did it. The investigative law offices that this guy has, he's not a cop, this Tobias guy that's investigating this, specializes in electronic surveillance investigations and security. And he said, we worked on the case for 5 months and have more than 200 hours in the case.
Oh, boy.
So they said the first word of the possible kidnapping plot surfaced in July 1998. Here, the superintendent of the State Highway Patrol said, I'm assuming it was either his children or his grandchildren or his wife they were going to kidnap. So, months later, after monitoring the inmate's phone call and mail, the prison security team confirmed earlier suspicions on the plot. And they said, the one guy, the investigator said, prisoners need to understand that if they hatch a plot in prison, they're going to get caught. When the governor called, he knew immediately that we had something bad. We have handled complex investigations for him before. They said, he said that they told him, I want you guys to organize the investigation. They said a battery of agencies, including the FBI, DCI, Highway Patrol, Department of Corrections, and U.S. Attorney's offices were all involved in this investigation. Shit. They said initially we're looking at 5 suspects, but narrowed it to Miller and Davi as the other guy. The others, they said, had a minimal involvement, basically transmitting messages that they might not have known what they even were. They said they amassed tons of physical evidence, including a letter written by Miller diagramming how to construct a cage to hold the governor's family members.
Holy God.
A fucking diagram of how to make a human cage. And they're like, yeah, governor's wife with an arrow pointing goes in there. Here's his smallest child. They go in there.
It'll hold 3 persons.
Whoa. The letter described the materials to be used in the cage's constructions and where the supplies could be purchased at the cheapest prices.
Good God. He's
like, Lowe's is having a sale right now. Make sure to go there.
Fascinating.
Another letter retrieved by investigators included a sought draft of a ransom demand. It was a ransom demand to be read over the phone once the kidnapping had occurred. Miller attempted to smuggle the letter out in a package from the prison's unit where he worked. The one investigator said, the guys weren't too dumb. We had our anxious moments while we were waiting to spring our string. So there was all these rumors here saying that they arranged a second kidnapping team for insurance. They had 2 kidnapping teams that said, this gave us real pause for concern. Our paranoia was that we missed somebody either inside or out. So one of his prison jobs Miller was to deliver the Argus Leader, which is a newspaper that I've used for several things here, throughout the prison. Miller arranged for a subscription under a phony inmate name. Cancellation of the subscription was to be a signal between the conspirators that the plan was proceeding. Oh. Okay. Though no kidnapping attempt was ever carried out, none of the governor's family was hurt or in danger, officials knew that Miller and Davi were capable of doing it. They were trying to actually do this. So they sprang the trap on him. Miller and Davi were issued civilian clothes and taken separately from the prison to the Sioux Falls office here. State troopers were under orders to shoot the prisoners if they attempted to escape en route.
Holy shit.
At the office, this investigator told the inmates, we're here as representatives of the governor to release to negotiate the release of the hostages.
Yeah.
They pretended like it had actually went through, that it happened.
Right.
He said, we've got lives at risk. At first, Miller denies all knowledge of the kidnapping plot, but he was told by the investigator, if you don't know what's going on, we can't let you out. In other words, you're not out of jail, out of this office.
Right.
He gave him like Bronx Tale, now you just can't leave type of thing. So the investigator said, quote, Miller was peeing his pants. I told him if anything happens to the governor's family, he'll turn the entire state upside down. Like, you have shaken the wrong tree, motherfucker.
You've really done it now.
You have fucked up bad. So they said Miller... he then asked Miller what the officials had to do to ensure the safe release of the hostages. So Miller said, "If I were you, I'd comply with their demands."
Yeah, what are the demands?
The investigator, the investigator asked how much time they had, and Miller said, "Sir, I don't know, but I think about a day." So once they convinced Miller and Dobby their kidnapping had actually occurred, they said, quote, "I told them that if this thing turned bad, their guy was liable to kill the hostages. They knew that instead of life in prison, they'd be looking at the death penalty now."
Yeah, right.
Both of them confessed. Both of them broke down, confessed to their roles. Miller even confessed fully to the Michael Kinney murder. Everything he did, he detailed exactly how he did it, when he did it. Fucking spilled it.
God, I wish I was there.
He was so scared. He not only told about that, he was like fucking, and then this happened, and then my sister, blah 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 blah. He was like Chunk from Goonies, like telling everything bad that he's ever done.
With piss running down his leg.
With piss running down his leg. Holy shit, I'm fucked. So finally, he confessed to all of that, which up until now he had maintained his innocence even to everybody. The investigator then told them, quote, "We've got good news and bad news. The good news is," this is great. Good news. I hope people listen to this whole episode, because if they miss this, it's really The good news is that you're leaving, like the office. So you've done that. Bad news is you're going to Joliet. Yeah. They tell him. Joliet is a maximum security facility.
Yeah.
Feared among inmates for its shitty conditions here.
That's where the dude, the co-ed guy was at. The nurse's killer. What's his name?
Yes, exactly. Richard Speck.
That's it. The bird and the fan guy.
No shit, man. So the investigator said that they were unaware of the kidnapping plot. Everybody was unaware of it until the story broke in the media. That was partly an order from the governor, who said, "You will not talk about this because it involves my family. I don't want this in the press till it's over with." So they said there's no plans to charge them with attempted kidnapping. No. They said the decision to pursue charges is up to federal prosecutors, and the U.S. prosecutor said he's aware, but he's going to defer the decision to prosecute to the governor, who's the victim. And the state said they're going to do it to their. They basically said it's not necessary. The governor's press secretary said that prosecution's unnecessary. It's just going to waste tax dollars since Davi and Miller are serving life sentences and their appeals are over. Mm-hmm. So who gives a shit? He said, what would it accomplish? These two are going to be miserable every day, every hour for the rest of their lives.
And really regret this choice.
They're really fucking dumb. Did we mention how dumb they are?
We could have been in the other prison that we just didn't like. This one we fucking hate.
We fucking really do. The governor said, quote, "You're dealing with scumbags who had already murdered people."
Yeah.
So it was very important to get it right. And they thought all these letters were leaving the prison, and none of them were. They were just going right to the investigators the whole time for months.
That is amazing.
Yep, Scott Dobby was the other guy. He was in prison for murder too, I believe, or something horrible that was in there forever. So, you're dealing with scumbags who murdered people. So they are still in prison, these two idiots, obviously, and all of that thing. 2007... The only thing I could find about Miller and his family here, in 2007, his son, Jesse, apparently graduated from Air Force school there. He's in the Air Force.
Yeah, I guess he could,
Military graduation in Biloxi, Mississippi. Baby. Yeah, the brand new baby.
Wow.
He's an Air Force Airman First Class, completed the apprentice course at Kessler Air Force Base.
Good for you,
the course is designed to train the student to observe and record weather elements using mechanical and electronic meteorological, Jesus, that's hard to say, equipment and instruments. The training includes elementary meteorology, weather forecasting, observing, and recording of weather phenomena. So he's an Air Force weather spotter, basically. Yeah. There you go. Miller is the son of Todd M. Miller of Dell Rapids. Is there a prison there?
Yeah.
and Cindy K. Tier, who she must be remarried because that's not her maiden name or fucking his name, of Sioux Falls. So there we go. That, everybody, is Aberdeen, South Dakota, and one fucking hell of a weird murder story, if I've ever heard one.
It's good they got the right guy. That was some fucking spotty-ass evidence, though. Jesus
that really
Christ.
was. I was happy to hear he confessed. Yeah. He just started spilling his guts about everything he ever did wrong.
But so for me, really, truly, that money tree and the train that he was, you don't take money from people that are threatening to kill your family. You don't. You wouldn't.
Generally don't.
You would never do that. So he clearly.
That's
was
why
involved.
he had 5 bad stories.
Right. Yeah.
After story number 3, he's done whatever that has happened. Like. You don't tell 3 lies if you're innocent.
You've got the Joker.
You got it. So if you like that, you like our show, tell the world about it. Get on Apple Podcasts or whatever app you're listening on and give us 5 stars. It really does help the show a lot, whether it's Audible or whatever. There's tons of different things there. Helps drive us up charts, so please do that if you haven't done it yet. Also, you definitely want to follow us on social media because that's when you find out about the ticket drop, which we're going to talk about in a second. Tickets are coming out, baby. 2023 Small Town Murder Tour is on.
Oh, boy.
We are excited. Head over to shutupandgivememurder.com. Your tickets will be on sale. It's the week after Thanksgiving. It's the next week. I believe it's maybe December 1st, something like that. Don't quote me on it. Instead, head over to our social media, which will tell you about it. We're at Murder Small on Twitter, at Small Town Pod on Facebook, at Small Town Murder on Instagram. Check all that, everything. It'll be there. They are coming out. We can't wait. Here are the dates right now. We'll repeat them again in case you fast forward through the top of the show, which some people do. February 10th, 2023, Cleveland, Ohio at the Agora. St. Louis on February 11th at the Pageant. Much nicer venue than we were at last time we were there. March 23rd and 24th, we are in Seattle for 2 shows at the Neptune. And then Saturday night, March 25th, we're in Portland, Oregon with 2 shows in one night that night. So 4 shows that weekend for us. That's going to be a fun one. May 5th, we're in Detroit at the Masonic, whatever that is. Look nice from the pictures.
Theater,
May 6th, 2023, we're in Pittsburgh, back at the Carnegie Music Hall in Munhill there, or whatever that is. Munhall. July 15th, we're in San Diego at the Observatory. July 28th, Salt Lake City, Utah at the Depot. July 29th, Denver at the Newman Center. Friday, August 11th, Minneapolis at the Pantages. And Saturday, August 12th, our biggest venue of the year, Chicago, the Auditorium Theater. This place looks it looks like you have the world's most beautiful symphony performance there.
It's crazy.
Let's muck this place up with dick jokes and murder. Let's do it, guys. Come on.
Wait.
Let's fill this bad boy up. And then September 8th, we're in Atlanta at the Tabernacle. September 9th, we are in Charlotte at the Night. Friday, October 6th in Philly at the Fillmore.
Oh, my God.
Again, back there. And then October 7th, we are in Washington, D.C. At the Howard. Dates still coming for this. Don't worry. There's a few missing there that are going to be there. They're just negotiating final dates and shit like that. Boston, New York, Milwaukee, and Phoenix. We know are happening.
Tase me. Yeah.
Somebody tase me. Hit me with a taser. I'm going to fuck that chimney. So... that said, everybody, definitely do that. Follow us on social media. Patreon.com/crime and sports is where you get all the bonus stuff, everything, whole back catalog. Anybody $5 a month or above, you're going to get shit. I don't know. There's like 150 episodes,
tons
bonus
of
shit to binge. Tons of stuff. New episodes every other week. 1 crime and sports, 1 small town murder. This week, crime and sports, weird old newspaper shit that's really funny and you'll enjoy. Trust us. Nothing to do with sports. Small town murder. Oh, it's Love After Lockup season.
Sir.
We're going to discuss the new season of Love After Lockup in great and hilarious detail. Patreon.com/crime and sports is where you get all of that. And you'll get a shout out because fuck, we love you for doing this for us. Thank you for being a member of our Patreon. Jimmie, hit me with those names right now, but don't leave me in an ice house abandoned and mummified. Please, Jimmie, hit me with them now.
This week's executive producers are Diane Ringel, Casey Shatters, Marilyn Brandfast. James, that's your new Italian grandma. If you didn't know that, she makes a wonderful sauce, and she swears and stuff, so she's wonderful.
Well, that's cool. Apple
Thank
knife,
you,
I hope? Packing a knife?
I imagine she is. And also Randy Polanich. I'm going
thank you.
Polanic. Thank you all so much for everything you do. Truly, it means the world to us. Other producers this week are Buster Hyman, Reverend.
Yeah.
You son of a bitch, Gary.
You said there, Buster Hyman.
I didn't get it until right when I read it out loud.
Really? That's amazing.
Reverend Seymour Perlmutter. I don't know what that one means, but
I'm sure it's something gross.
What's a Perlmutter?
Sure it has to do with jizz or some jizz-related subject.
Gary. All right. Steve Gaines of Leonard Skinner, who would have been the next Clapton if not for a plane crash, I'm told. Steve Schnell, somebody tase me. Hey. Alexis Earlbeck, my pee pants ex-girlfriend. Janice Hill, Kieran Laidlaw in South Africa. Alyssa and Brett, Randy. Nope, that's Rachel Branley. I love you. Adam Wyatt, Van Sharpenseal, Lene Morgan. Madison Smoot, Tammy Valachi, Philip with no last name, Helen Murphy, St. Louis Saint, I suppose, STL, Kaylin Bond, yeah. Haley Cosino, Mandy Salas, Shell Lauro Weedy, Sarah Holtz, Rain Ramsire. All right. Liz Letterhose. Susie with no last name. Jeremy Fusili. Jackson McMullen. Kelly Waters. Mike Shadina. Peyton French. Andres Lasco 6. Salazar. Bree with no last name. Yeah. Moan Spot. Samantha with no last name. Heather Wehab Mouch. Don't know what. No. Greg Macri, Tanya Harden, not Harding, Ashley Brenham, Rebecca Benai, Arnold Thompson, J.S., Cody Board, Matthew Johns, Martin Giola, Rebecca M., Credius, Noah Borer, Zach Valdez, Scott with no last name, Haley Collins, the one and only Jody Lynn, Nathan Mezzo, Caleb Breitenbach, Gary White, Larissa Chadosh, Scary Malice, Jada Larson, Charlie Sims, Patricia Callahan, Jonathan Barajas, Deborah Chamness, Hillary F., Anthony West, Elizabeth Greil, Callie Grant, Zach Donahue, Chris Graham, Derek Austin, Felicia Palmer, Arsenic Catnip. That's not nice. James Lee, Billy Duncan, William Sutton, Zach with no last name, Allie Parker, Patrick D., Callie Nichols, Josh A.L., Sky Olszynski, Michaela Means, Elizabeth Bell, Rizal Lee, Mark Quinn Baker, Allison Kosar, Bernie's daughter, Christy Brugan, Sarah Taylor, Aaron Ailes, Sarah Ramirez, Kristen Fowler, Gabrielle Calvesbert, Amanda S., Rachel Fowler, Ryan Simpson, Ashley Davis, Ali, Crystal Sims, Jeff Goss maybe, Michael Gebert, Chance Smith, Rebecca with no last name, Amber Solis, Becky Thompson, Michelle McKenzie, Lindsay Dinkla, Vicky Schlunenberger, Jim Behrens, Roll Tide, damn it, Elaine Shaben, Jeffrey Howell, Caden Stubblefield, Lindsay Miller, Jennifer Moffat, hey, Nicole Cooper, Matt Spruill, Mary Cluis, Tyler Perry, probably not. Linda, sure. That would be amazing.
He's got $5 to spare.
I would lose it.
He's got $5 to spare.
Why would I lose it? I've never seen one of those movies. It's just because I know his name.
Not a Tyler Perry fan, but the fact that, not anything against him, just
be amazing.
Yeah.
Linda Salvatore, Kathy Nordstrom, Craig Hoffman, Kaylin Stewart, Andrea Fowler, Ricardo Vander Nat, David Dahl, Ryan Callison, Drayton Gagliano, Heather Price, Leslie Ruby, Entity Ginja, Rhonda Williams, Nick Nagorny, Joey Duffield. Cassandra Majlika. What? That's not a real word. Jackie Kirby, Aida. I bet I typed that wrong. Aida Blackhawk.
Or it could just be like Pietragallo in a mess.
Probably. Lauren Aunt, Beth Clements, Dustin Taguado, Michelle Smith, Kevin Rosos, Jesse Giarmatino, Martino, Dan Ujair, Laurel Kalinchik, Connie Hansen, Tyler Dereen, William Brown, Eric Brugan, Molly with no last name, Bobby Tory Lane, Christy with no last name, Janet Beck, Amber Ramkey, Kara with no last name, Justin Frawley, Julia with no last name, Ted Espel, Total Capacity, Cooper Marion, Austin with no last name, King Kunta, that feels weird, Zach with no last name, Adam Smith, Danielle Wyman, Brian Crawford, Brittany Wade, Joey Hoffman, Hayden Bork, Sonia Glennon, Erica Marling, Sue Crowley, Nikki Anstein, Matthew Paust, Andrea Perez, Courtney Carson, nope, that's Parsons, Rick Thompson, Dark Energy, Brian Leslie, Gavin KF, Richard Hicks, Cammie DeLapp, Heroin Hawk of West Virginia, Goldie Rose Bates, nice. Andrew Scalisi, Mark Grant, Carlito Herman, Colton with no last name, Jessica Black, Brittany Solkowski, Amanda McGee, Lulu Queenie, Jamie DeAngelis, Chris O'Shea, MJ Hepp, Kara Cowling, Christopher H., Lindsay Sheehan, Framham and the Jam Band. Have a happy super soft birthday, Kendra. Garrett Schnell, Maggie 79, Florida Man Tactical, Kalina Lacey, Haley Clement, Graham Cunningham, Sophie Gorey, yes. Jacqueline Kohler, Kyle Rose, Rob Daniel, Melody Turnbro, Sally Barnum, Lauren Nasreen, Cal Lore, Dominique Ross, Matt Bowie, Connor Ramsey, Aaron Zafer, Nikki Mahaney, Austin Parker, MSWZ, Jeff Rothbun, Melissa Muncie, Richard Collins, Caleb
Matthew?
Filson. Yeah, I almost did. I apologize, Melissa. Angela Thompson, Tammy Van Loon, Caleb Filson. I said that. Stephanie Langewiesenies, no way. Rar with no last name. Michelle Moisel, Dakota Jones, Maria Chow, Stephanie Hankel, Brittany and Tyler Randalls, Shannon Sproul, I think, Lauren S., Scott Adams, Luis Marshall, Scott Martin, Jennifer Marie Wenner, Ben Minnick. My eyes are going blurry. Ride Clevenger, Reed.
It's getting ugly.
Read or Ride Clevenger, Becky Riggs, Zach Sleto, Drew Brittner, fucking what is that? Christopher Gransberry, my eyes sting, Rebecca Dayrep, and all of our patrons. Thank you for making my eyes sting.
Thank you, everybody, from the bottom of our hearts. Yeah. We appreciate the fuck out of everything you do for us. Thank you so much. You want to follow us on social media? Very easy to do. Go to shutupandgivememurder.com. The links are there for everything. Dates, links, stuff. That's where you want to be. Whew, that said, hell of an episode. Hell of a week. We'll see you for the Express this week, of course. Sir. Can't wait to see your wonderful faces live at live shows. And until next week, everybody, it's been our pleasure.
Bye.
If you like Small Town Murder, you can listen early and ad-free now by joining Wondery Plus in the Wondery app or on Apple Podcasts. Prime members can listen early and ad-free on Amazon Music. Before you go, tell us about yourself by filling out a short survey at Wondery.com/survey.
In the 1980s, a rosé swept the country.
Hey, Mike, I really like this White Zinfandel.
Well, good. Now put it down. I'm going to try another one.
White Zin became America's top-selling wine. But most don't know that this sweet drink has a sour history. What began in 1986 with counterfeit bottles,
a big fraud, a multi-million-dollar fraud,
sent investigators chasing one of the most powerful families in the business, the Licciardis. But the closer the feds got to them, the more dangerous things became. It's a story of deceit.
At the time, I was paranoid.
Threats.
You touch my kids, I will kill you.
And murder.
With a .22 caliber bullet to the head.
What started with a scheme to mislabel wine spilled into a blood-soaked battle for succession. Welcome to Bloodvines. You can binge listen to Bloodvines exclusively and ad-free on Wondery Plus. Join Wondery Plus in the Wondery app, Apple Podcasts, or Spotify.